Contin has filed for bankruptcy protection.
The bankruptcy filing comes after Purdue Pharma reached a tentative settlement, which could be worth up to $12 billion over time, with many of the more than 2,000 local and state governments across the country that are suing the company over its role in the opioid crisis. But the holdouts include more than half the states, and some of them are expected to object to the settlement in bankruptcy court and continue their lawsuits against the Sackler family, which owns the company. I'm Julie Walker.
President Trump is responding to a New York Times story alleging lewd conduct by Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh while he was in college many years ago. The president says that Kavanaugh is innocent. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures are in the red, suggesting a lower open later on. Right now, Dow futures are down about 111 points. S&P futures off 12. And NASDAQ futures down 49 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3.
Like I
The
was
answer.
About ordering Relief Factor.
1380,
Pat
the
Boone
answer.
again for this
Weather.
wonderful 100% drug-free supplement designed to help your own body lower or eliminate occasional aches and pains due to aging, exercise, everyday living. I'm not skeptical any longer. The 3-week quick start is now discounted to only $19.95. Why don't you let us see if we can get you out of pain, too, at ReliefFactor.com.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.125%. APR 4.22%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Because of it. So go to this station's website right now to nominate the Single Culture Warrior of the Year. It's time to honor a few great people. The answer, STL.com. Dennis Prager explains what the left is doing to America.
The left has removed God from American life.
The left is removing liberty wherever possible.
And e pluribus unum, out of many one, they consider that to be white nationalism. We had it too good. For people to find meaning in life, they have opted to destroy.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The answer, news, opinion, insight.
There's a place for you at St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
New York governor ordering a ban on the sale of flavored e-cigarettes, citing the risk of young
health
people
insurance premiums making you sick? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I have the answer. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency serving Missouri and Illinois. This is non-Obamacare, and you can enroll anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Why should you have to pay for maternity coverage and pediatric dental care if you don't need it? KDDI-INS.com. KDDI-INS.com or call Joyce at 877-695-0245. 877-695-0245. This is the answer. This is the solution. KDDI-INS.com.
On eBay, you can ride the high of a shopping spree without feeling the guilt of a spending spree. Check eBay before you pay too much for that thing you love and get exactly what you want for a price that works for you. When you're overpaying, get exactly what you want on eBay.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis. Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose, let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains.
Yes. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday, everybody. And happy Monday to you also over there. You in the corner, hiding from me. No, I know where you are. Don't try to slip out. Before we get started on this grand program, folks, I want to know whether I want to check in with Phil. Come on, can I? Phil, do you have any? By any chance, have any like death announcements in the rock and roll industry or anything like that?
You know I do, man.
Oh no! You gotta be kidding me! I was just kidding. What? Man. Wait, what? What? Wait.
Gone too soon, brother.
Who?
The great Rick Ocasek, band leader of Band of Cars.
You gotta be joking!
Rest in peace.
Oh. What were the circumstances?
I heard about it late last night, and I don't really yet know. I'm assuming maybe something related to cigarettes because he smoked incessantly, I guess.
Oh, really?
Well, early in his career, I know he did, but I don't know, man. I haven't read all about it yet. I just heard about it like 1 a.m. or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really sad. Because he was only 70 or something, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
I was kidding.
Kind of a genius, really. I mean, produced Romeo Void, which was another great band. Did a lot of production. Did a lot of stuff behind the scenes, people don't know about. But, just really good guy.
Yeah, man. He was a really good guy.
Yeah. Made me think of that guy that you talked about last week that wrote the list of all the people that are going to be dying now. And I thought, well, I guess he's probably crossing this off the list or something.
I don't think he mentioned Rick.
Probably not, because he's a little younger than some of the people he listed. But
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he mentioned him.
He did not.
Yeah. So that means it's going to be even more. Is Romeo Void the one that sang the I might like you better if we slept together?
Uh-huh.
They did?
Yeah, a great song called "A Girl in Trouble" too. He produced their stuff and helped engineer it all and stuff. He's sort of a genius in that regard. But yeah, they did that. They did that song.
I might like you better if we slept together.
Yeah,
that one.
Yep,
I remember that. Let me see if I can find it because I actually thought I actually had it because I remember playing it one time and is that the Never Say Never, or what is it called?
It's called Never Say Never. Mm-hmm.
It's funny because it's not really a very popular song.
I loved that song when it came out, and I thought she was amazing. It's kind of a irregular type of a lead singer kind of at the time, back in the skinny model kind of looking Berlin kind of singers. And here comes this kind of rotund Mexican woman, their lead singer, and she was just amazing.
She laid the groundwork for Cardi B.
You know it, man. Really, she did. She broke down the door.
It gave it gave big fat beasts much more access to the music industry.
There it is. Listen to that guitar right there.
I was thinking you'd like that.
Oh yeah.
That's funny. It sounds like the Cars.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. It's funny. I'm surprised this is the one I know. I'm surprised that it's not the one that's mostly. So she's a big girl, is she?
Yes. Most definitely. Really pretty too, though.
Oh yeah, sure.
Really pretty.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, I think you could be both.
Most definitely.
I definitely think you could be both. Okay, well, this is. I mean, I get it. I think I thought I liked that better. I might like it better I might like you better, Romeo Void, if you were off. If we slept together. You can turn it back on. It's all right. Yeah, it's okay. This sounds like a lot of music from that time.
Yeah, I had the saxophone. That was real common back in those days, so.
That guitar riff, though, there's something that sounds familiar.
No, that's original, man.
No, I know, but it sounds familiar, like it was in another song or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
All right, well, that's our death news for you this morning. We're going to wake you up with news of Rick Ocasek's
just getting over Eddie Money, man. Like, all of a sudden, Rick Ocasek's. Like, the 80s are dying, the late 70s, 80s.
Well, yeah, there have been some of that. There have been some of that. Well, good morning this morning. Mark Haitian's in at 6:30. Jimmy Hoft, I had a really fun time over the weekend hanging out with some of these people at the Eagle Forum thing. And it was great. It was interesting. It's funny. You see, I don't know whether I want to go here. But yeah, I do. Kind of. But you see where certain people, like even who were at one point on this station, and obviously my show and my platform is the highest rated conservative talk platform in St. Louis. And I got news for you. If you think 97.1 is the place and that they're having anywhere near the number of people listening to them that I am, you're out of your tree. And I can prove that in the numbers. But and since I've left there, they've lost more than half of their audience. And even then, it's only because they are the only ones with a clearer signal in the conservative realm on the dial, or B, because it's just on. But the reality is that my show is the highest rated conservative talk show. So you think that somebody who used to be on this station, who actually organized the event, it was co-sponsored by Jimmy Hoft, who had limited amounts of time to control like MCs and that kind of thing. You'd think that the Eagle Forum, that they would actually ask me to be there. You know what I mean? As opposed to somebody else. But when you are small-minded like this person is, and it's all tit for tat, it's all kind of everything you do is designed to be a move, like you're a passive-aggressive small ball player. And I would say small balls player too, but small ball player. Then everything you do is calculated to manipulate and do whatever. And so all of your relationships are all tit for tat. I'll show them, that kind of thing. Living like that's hard. You have to be a particular kind of jackass to actually live like that. But when people spend their whole lives operating that way, then it becomes a thing. It's part of their fabric, and then they just become known a-holes, and people accept them as a-holes, and that's kind of how that thing went down. And I feel bad because Jimmy Hoft, the Gateway Pundit, is a big time proud sponsor of the event. And it was really a ton of fun to be able to hang out. I just went really for a couple of the after, one of the after parties and that kind of thing, and hung out with Jim. The night on Thursday night, as you know, I saw Hong Kong Joe Hoft and Pam Geller, and then the night after on Saturday night went over there and. Scott Pressler. Have you heard of Scott Pressler before? Yeah, he's like 6'5". He's a conservative activist. He invented a thing called the persistence, and really good guy. I'm going to have him on the show eventually, and I'm thinking of working on a project with him here in St. Louis, and I'm going to engage Brother Bob in that and everything else. So, Maxie, by the way, if you can text me Brother Bob's number, I don't know why I don't have it, but don't.
Sure, no problem.
And so, but this guy's a really good guy. He's pretty funny, and he's 6'5", which he's giant. And so it was fun chatting with him, talking to him. Rose Tennant, who is a prolific talk radio star and fills in for Hannity on occasion, that kind of thing. She was there, and it was really nice to meet her, and she's going to be on the show. Pam Geller is going to come back in the fold. Her problem is she can't really do sometimes live radio in the morning because she's so busy with other stuff. And so I used to record her and play her the next day, and I don't really have the facilities for that at this studio here. So we'll eventually get back to that point and have her on as much as we can have her on. And then we hung out. Gina Loudon was there, who I've known for a long time. I checked back in with Ben Murphy. He was hanging around the place. I even bought a souvenir from him. Of course you do, right? So he was there. And let's see. I talked to a guy named Mark Schneider, who was part of an Ola Hawatma, an old friend of mine, and she's fantastic. And then Mark Schneider, who is a nuclear power guy, like he's big into nuclear power. Really talked a long time with him. Would love to have him back on the show at some point, and had some really great conversations with folks. So nuclear power is kind of one of those things where you really people. It has a bad name to it, and yet nuclear power is the way to go. And if you want to get rid of coal, or you want to do all that kind of stuff, or you want something that works well with coal as opposed to anything else, and nuclear power is green. I don't know why people don't think about that, but it is. And it's but yet it's always been one of these things. It has been all the green people and all the eco warriors out there have said they don't want it. I guess because they keep on checking in with 3 Mile Island. Remember that? Remember 3 Mile Island? What about 3 Mile Island? It's like, okay, shush. Or Chernobyl or something like that. Well, when you're stupid pinhead Russians and you're operating nukes, that's a little different than Americans doing it. But so it does work. I mean, it is a formidable form of energy. So I don't. But anyway, well, I'll have him on. But it was an interesting night at the same time. And the problem with that, this has always been the problem. It was the problem with the Tea Party and everything else, is that people who are always out for themselves, always ruin movements. People who are constantly trying to step up a ladder over somebody, and I've dealt with people like that more than I want to tell you. And some of them actually did wind up stepping right over me and getting to, but still, but they ruin movements. They ruin things, and they create, and you wouldn't believe the kinds of people who used to be like these really great people who were involved in the movement, how much they are despised now. I mean, I'm telling you, they know. I think they know, but you don't realize that you just burn so many bridges. It's like, why do you do that? Why do you do that? And then people wish for your demise. It's and won't do anything to help. It's really pretty amazing, but it's the way of the world, man. And conservatives have it. I'm sure liberals have the same problem in their realm too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. Beto O'Rourke is back in the news because, of course, that whole thing with the AR-15 turned out to be a complete lie regarding the ambulances and all that stuff. But now other Democrats are kind of like, I don't know, this wasn't him saying that was not a good thing. And Beto O'Rourke, of course, is claiming that he really wasn't, saying what he said, but he said that we're going to go and, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15. So he did say that. And now he's acting like he really didn't say it. But anyway, it didn't stop some Democrats from going after him on it, and we'll have those folks. 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
From the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Farmers Insurance knows the difference between a car hitting your bumper and a clown car hitting your bumper.
Sorry about that.
Because at Farmers, we've seen and covered it.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
The following is a true story.
I had a lady that was in her mid-70s, and I'd sold her timeshare, and that was the lowest I'd ever felt in my life. I knew then that I had to do something to simply not to go to hell for selling timeshare.
Chuck McDowell founded Wesley Financial Group to help folks cancel their timeshares permanently.
Called her and everybody that I'd sold timeshare to, and I said, this is what I said to you that was a lie, and this is what you need to do to cancel your timeshare. From that point, people started referring friends to me to help them cancel the timeshare, and that's how it all started. I fought the world's largest timeshare company in federal court. If I had lost that lawsuit, there would be no one helping people that have been lied to when they bought timeshare. If we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or we'll give your money back. That's what makes us different.
Call Wesley Financial Group now for a free information kit. 800-515-1771. That's 800-515-1771. 800-515-1771.
As an organ donor, your story doesn't have to end. The good in you can live on. In fact, you could save up to 8 lives and restore sight and health for many more. Sign up right now online as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. You'll be happy you did, and just maybe someone else will be happy too. Go to organdonor.gov. It saves lives. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Now's the time to travel and be with the people you care about the most. And at Holiday Inn and Holiday Inn Express, we're helping you be there for less. Save at least 25% at thousands of hotels worldwide if you book by September 24th. You won't want this moment to pass you by. So book today at HolidayInn.com. Terms and conditions apply.
You love that smell, that new truck smell, all cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois,
or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com.
Allman here for a longtime Common Sense Radio supporter, Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. Low premiums and low deductibles on your home, auto, and life, and I have all 3 of those policies with my good friend Matthew. Also, he's got some great deals for the young driver. You know how expensive it can be to insure them. He's got low premiums and low deductibles, even for your young drivers. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Which is the guy with the mustache? Is it John Oates?
Indeed.
Well, these guys aren't dead, which is good.
Very good.
And I'm noticing, and even Natalie's noticing when we play baseball or watch baseball, there are a lot of players that have the John Oates 70s porn mustache thing going.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We have one on our team. Yeah. And she even pointed it out. She didn't say, obviously, but she goes, that guy has we were watching it. She goes, that guy has a mustache. Well, because it's got to the point where, very few people actually have mustaches, right? You have a beard that includes the mustache, but there are very few people who actually have just a mustache. And so Natalie was pointing out that it proves it that kids, they don't even, the mustaches they see are on, people like Grover Cleveland when they're learning about history, Well, if they ever learn about Grover Cleveland, which they should, but they don't. But yeah, that guy has a mustache because it was really surprising to her. It just shows you a little bit about the culture here that now mustaches are rare. And in fact, every time you have one on or have one, it makes you look like you're from the 70s.
Did you ever rock one?
Huh?
Did you ever have one?
No.
No.
No. I look terrible in a mustache. It looks so stupid. Oh. And Daryl Hall and John Oates, by the way, just call yourself Hall and Oates. It's hard to find you on my iTunes list when you're... okay, I got you. It's Daryl Hall and John Oates under D. It's that's pretty pretentious. You know what I mean? That's enough. That's enough of that, Daryl Hall and John Oates. 844-855-1380, the call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Global crude prices are spiking this morning following the missile and drone attack on Saudi oil production facilities. It's an attack the U.S. blames on Iran. Talks set to resume later this morning in the General Motors strike. 49,000 GM workers manning picket lines at 33 plants around the country, as well as at 22 parts warehouses. The company made billions selling the prescription painkiller OxyContin. Now Purdue Pharma has filed for bankruptcy protection, facing thousands of lawsuits and potentially billions of dollars in liability. President Trump responding to a New York Times story alleging lewd conduct by Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh while he was in college many years ago. The president says Kavanaugh is innocent. On Wall Street, Dow futures down 122 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still just one problem at this hour, and that's an accident on 270 eastbound. A left lane blocked over a Chain of Rocks bridge. Doesn't seem to be causing any delays right now, so that's a good thing. Everything else really is construction. We have a number of projects in place. Your on-ramp from Watson to westbound 44 closed with road work until the end of October. And the exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street remains closed with road work until the end of the month. We've got some midday work today, 9 to 3 on north and southbound 270 south of 44. That's on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny, hot, and humid today. Winds northwest 6 to 12 miles per hour and a high of 92. Mainly clear, warm, and humid this evening, low 70. For Tuesday, partly sunny, hot, and humid and a high of 91. Partly sunny for Wednesday, hot, high 92. I'm Maddie Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, folks, I will tell you, when it comes to Volvos, I don't know whether you've seen some of those Volvos on the street these days. They are beautiful machines, and they are looking, sometimes you'll confuse them with the Teslas or something like that. But if you're looking at the S60, I saw the S60 T5 Momentum sedan on the street the other day, and these are the 2018-2019s, and they're made in South Carolina, at the plant in South Carolina, which is great. They're made right here in America. Volvo created a plant really just to make this particular sedan. Dude, will you turn your phone down? Gee whiz. Mark Kaysen walks in here while I'm doing ads, and his friggin' phone is going off. Go out into the hallway. I'm trying to help out my people at Suntrup West County Volvo. Gee whiz. I turned my phone off. How are you going to be a professional radio guy when you keep your phone on the air? On the air. Like, nobody does that. Gee whiz. Start over here. Getting all on me. Suntrup West County Volvo. Sorry, Suntrup. That's Mark Kaysen with his phone going off. Oh, I'm talking about your beautiful S60 sedan made in South Carolina. A beautiful machine, and I'm telling you, the old days of Volvo used to have these really amazing safety features, and they still do. But it used to be like the Volvo, the old school Volvo, like a 1990 Volvo like I had, which was this kind of boxy but safe version of a sedan. This time you have all the safety features that are legendary with Volvo, but kind of shelled around a beautiful, beautiful form. And you're going to love what this X60 looks like, made in America. You're also going to love their crossovers and their SUVs and even their smaller versions, sporty versions of Volvo. Each car has every bit the safety features that Volvo is known for, but all kinds of different pizzazz associated with it. And they've got some great deals going into the new year, even though obviously we're months away. They still have some really great deals for you, leasing as well as purchasing. WCVolvo.com. That's WestCountyVolvo.com. WCVolvo.com. It's Suntrup Volvo Cars of West County.
Saturday mornings at 9 are now all about the house. Do you ever wish you could get an hour with a general contractor or building inspector to ask all your home maintenance questions? Well, About the House with Troy Galloway is exactly that. Every Saturday morning at 9, Troy Galloway will spend an hour giving home advice and taking your questions. Submit your questions now on Facebook at the Galloway Building Services Facebook page. And tune in to About the House with Troy Galloway every Saturday morning at 9 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK.
The Dana Show, this afternoon at 1. Now, more Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Mark, come on in here. Goodness gracious. Everything's so discombobulated this morning. You know, here's the thing. it's one thing. The cell phone's one thing. I'm not going to sit here and continue on with berating you, but the cell phone's one thing. But then you also come in with a cold. So it's like, okay, so you ruin my live spot with West County Volvo with a cell phone, and you quite possibly you're going to get me sick because this fan's blowing on me and it's sucking the germs from you right to me. You see how this fan is working here, Phil? Yep. It's going from him into my sphere, which means it's sucking the germs from you.
Yeah, and I hate people who do the cell phone thing. I accidentally turned off one of my phones. I didn't turn off the other one. However, I do want to point out to you that this is like you and your guns. See, I have 1 million phones, and you have 1 million guns. So the question is, what's better, to have phones or guns?
Why do you have 2 phones?
Oh, I have many phones. I have so much tech.
You have
Why
more
do you
than
have so
2
many
phones?
guns? Why do you have so many guns? Do you have more than 2 guns?
Yeah, but in case Beto O'Rourke, President O'Rourke orders his stormtroopers to my house, I want to be able to have them bleed out on my driveway.
Okay, so my illness is phones, and your illness is guns.
Well, see, no, it's not.
So,
that's different, though.
Oh, it's different.
I'm not.
I don't think it's different.
But see, I don't want to restrict your phone access. I don't want to restrict your phones. I just asked you why you have so many. When you ask me why I have so many, it's with an eye on taking them. You're putting your phones back in your pocket, and I don't care whether you have 10 of them. But I do want to know. Okay, I asked you why you had 2 phones. You said you had many phones. So what would be the purpose of having many phones?
I'm in touch with people and calling and texting and working on technology.
Fentanyl deals from China.
Education stuff and stock markets. Never ending. I mean, the connection to technology, and it's so much more safe and sane than having millions of guns. That's all.
Yeah. How does a guy like you get a cold? Like, I don't understand how that happens.
I hate that. And I haven't had a cold in probably a couple of years or even a little more.
Is it the all the kids you're around every day?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
You stop touching them.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, that's what I think. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about. I want to get to Joe Biden's corn pop story. You hear the corn pop story? Why do these Democratic candidates like to tell? Here, listen. You want to hear Joe Biden's corn pop story, which probably is fake, but who knows? He had a gang of ne'er-do-wells facing.
I learned a lot, and I learned that it makes a difference. This was the diving board area, and I was one of the guards, and there weren't allowed to. There was a 3-meter board, and if you fell off sideways, you landed on the darn cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did, and back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap.
He's talking to a bunch of black people, by the way.
Sure.
Just want to let you know.
No,
that's
easy to understand.
I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, what am I going to do? He said, come down here in the basement where mechanics, where all the pool filter is. You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain.
So he had these people with
Joe likes to tell stories.
And he had somebody cut a chain for him on the premises in preparation for the face-off with Corn Pop. See, here's the thing, though. But these stories, first of all, this one is like there's like the story that Beto told. I mean, this one might be more believable. I mean, because of his age. The Beto O'Rourke story about being in a bathroom and having and listen to this, Phil. First of all, men, when they're using the bathroom, a restroom, don't talk to each other. Not while you're not while you're at the urinal. You don't talk to a man next to you. That's not how things operate. And so, I mean, people might have a conversation like I know, like at a concert or a ball game, there might be some people while they're in line or while they're waiting or they're chilling for somebody to get done. You're talking, but generally when it's time, you do not have a conversation with somebody at a urinal. Beto O'Rourke decides he's going to tell us that he had a conversation with a Republican while they're both whizzing, and the Republican's going, you know what? I would give up my AR-15. That's a story Beto O'Rourke told about talking to a guy at a urinal about guns and how willing this guy would be willing to give up his gun. These are patently false. The story he told the night of the debate about the ambulances and everything else has been proven to be completely factually wrong. What is wrong with these people? I mean, you guys are, let's put it this way. You guys are so hung up on Donald Trump and all his myths, truths that you point out.
12,000 plus.
What about these guys who, I mean, they can't stop lying about things.
Okay, minor stuff that means nothing, talking about a guy in the men's room, talking about corn pop. What does that have to do? How does that compare to somebody that wants to rip apart NATO, shut down the United Nations? I mean, we're talking about...
Mark, but see, when you talk about ripping apart NATO and shutting down the United Nations, those are actual issues that there are reasonable people who actually have concerns about what NATO is doing to us, to our foreign policy, what the UN is doing to us in our foreign policy. And so those are... Pulling out of the UN isn't like some grand thing that President Trump just suddenly pulled out of nowhere. These are actual issues.
These are fringe issues.
Putting together trade deals, all these kinds of things. The France Accord, the Paris Accord was a great example of how we were ill-served by our cooperation with some of these other foreign powers. So that's like a real issue. That's not him lying or doing anything like that.
Yeah, so let's not cooperate with anybody. Let's just tear down all of the institutions that have kept the world safe for 75 years since the end of World War II. Let's just rip it apart and see what happens.
The institutions that have kept the world safe since World War II always boils down to the institution of the United States of America. What relationship don't we have? I mean, every time you turn around, the latest overseas meeting was where President Trump was sitting there with two world leaders having a grand old time. I mean, he hasn't made any enemies except for the people who don't like him.
Yeah, except for Europe, Canada, Mexico.
Europe? What are you talking about?
Everybody. Oh, they hate us. They hate Donald Trump.
But here's
they have everything crossed: fingers, legs. They've got their heads crossed. They are truly, and they're atheists, and they're praying for the end of this guy.
What do we care what Canada thinks about us? Or about Donald Trump? What do we care what the UE, which by the way, wants to put the Star of David on every single product coming out of Israel? I mean, did you hear that latest one? This anti-Semite UE, the one that Pope loves so much? Have you heard about that one?
No, but I think it's funny.
European Union?
I know all the BDS
EU.
stuff.
I said union.
Yeah. No, I know, but I know all the BDS stuff going on, aimed at Israel. And obviously, I don't support that. But on the other hand, I don't think that they are anti-Semites. They're advocating for fairness for Palestinians.
Yeah, that's always what the anti-Semites say.
Oh, please, stop it. I have met so many over the years, Palestinians, who absolutely agree if Israel and Palestine could exist with safety for both, no argument. And that's what it's going to come down to. And Donald only fans the flames of craziness over there.
Right. Yeah. Like it's never the terrorists fanning the flames of craziness. It's never the Mooj. It's never Hamas. It's always Donald Trump. The problem is, Mark, you're not in a winning position by stepping up for the European Union and Canada and Palestine as a thing. It's not going to really.
So who are
I'm
our
getting
friends?
A cold already.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I'm already getting a cold.
Who are our friends? Russia?
Italy?
No, please don't say. You're just talking about Johnson, who is about to be kicked so far out on his butt.
Yeah,
I mean,
because they're doing the same thing they did here, is that they don't like the results of an election, so they're trying to overturn them.
That election was so close.
I'm getting sick as I'm speaking to Mark.
You are so funny. I'm telling you, I think this is where I get it, but that's all right. No, maybe it's.
I don't know where
maybe it's the kids.
There's no way you get it from me because I'm never sick.
Okay, well, usually I'm not either.
I only get holes in me and septic shock and things like that.
Right.
I don't get sick.
Yeah, let's all try to survive here another week. But you were with the conservatives over the weekend.
Yeah,
and I was with some really great people out at Fairgrounds Park, black elected officials working on this anti-violence thing, and they are all asking the question, should we really spend $600,000 on some crazy company that claims that they can stop violence like that? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about that. I appreciate you bringing that up because it shows that, there's always some group that let's put it this way. It was similar to, like, for instance, Better Together, right? There's always some group that comes out of nowhere, suddenly gets these big fat contracts to do things. And I don't know why it is that we always love to invent these shadow governments, really. This is what it is the government decides, we're going to give you a contract to do our work for us. And then suddenly you have these, side governments in operation. And Better Together was a great example of that. What's the name of this one again?
Cure Violence.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Who runs that?
I don't know, but they claim that they've solved all the violence problems in Chicago and Baltimore. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, and we're going to give them $600,000? I don't care about $600,000. It's not that much money, and if they did any good, that would be different. But who believes those kind of stories? It's a pipe dream. It's nonsense.
Yeah, well, I think you're onto something there. I think I think that's something you all ought to busy yourselves with our help, and not with the gun restrictions and all that kind of stuff. I think you're onto something with your meeting up in Fairgrounds Park. That's cool. But you trying to take AR-15s and the Beto O'Rourke approach isn't going to work. Even Chris Coons, the senator, says that. I have him on the other side of this break.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even worry about I don't worry about those guns because I know they're not going anywhere. I was with a guy over the weekend who was in Canada, and we looked it up. I mean, Canada has 1 million guns, and we have 320 million. What's our problem? But anyway, forget that.
Why do you keep bringing up Canada? Nobody cares here. Cares about Canada.
They have 1 million guns, and no one gets killed.
Well,
I mean, murders are. I mean, if there's a murder there, it's a story.
Well, just
here,
wait.
I mean, they're another week,
right? But they're also generally kind of in terms of population. They're just a different country.
Yeah.
That's all.
But let me say that the people that I talk to, because this is here. I mean, we've got a violence problem in all of our inner cities, and certainly in St. Louis. And when I talk to people over the weekend, and I'm talking about all these liberal black political
how they
people,
do it? How do they do it in the inner cities in Canada, Mark?
They have no guns.
No, they have no inner cities.
They have no guns.
They have no inner cities in Canada.
They have no guns.
I was so praying you were going to say
they
have
they have issues there.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe in Toronto a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. And anyway, all I'm saying is that when I talk to these people at the liberal black leaders, they are so welcoming of the idea that there are some things that could be done that would even include you. So, I mean, the thing about it is just because they hear that they know how conservative you are, but they're not afraid of you. I've run into some people who are afraid of you, and some Republicans who are afraid of you, which is not surprising, as you pointed out as I was on the way in. We have the same thing on my side, where Democrats don't want to tell what they really want to do, and so they're afraid of me because I say it.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, because I don't know why they'd be afraid of me. I'm not doing anything to anybody.
You're honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one thing.
That would do it.
That I am. Yeah, just wait. The Republicans who are about to kiss up to the Kansas City Star and the Post-Dispatch and pass anti-gun legislation, I guarantee you we're taking your names. So maybe you can be afraid of us. I got to take a break here. We'll be back. 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan. Join me on Need, Want, Love, Wellness. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about your health. Things to get you from awareness into action and how to change your life in a way that's never been discussed before so that you can then figure out exactly what's going on for you to best suit your lifestyle to get you back to doing the things that you need to do, want to do, and love to do within your life. So join me, Dr. Dan, on Need, Want, Love, Wellness. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
At Farmers Insurance, we know there's a crucial difference between a kick drum pedal and your car's accelerator pedal. Because at Farmers, we've seen and covered it.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
In the midst of all the uncertainty around us, we all need a refuge, a place to call home. Come home to St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Are you unhappily single? Does your marriage or relationship feel hard? I get a lot of emails from readers who are struggling in their marriage or relationship. Unfortunately, the help an individual or couple needs can rarely be answered in a series of emails. For this reason, I offer relationship coaching for those who are struggling to find love and for couples whose marriage or relationship feels stuck in a negative cycle. Go to SuzanneBanker.com and sign up today for a coaching session with me and learn the tools you need to find love and sustain it. It's so much easier than you think. That's SuzanneBanker.com.
Hi, this is Jess with Razorback Armory in Des Peres. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Answer listeners for their continued patronage and support over the last 4 years. I know there are many choices out there for you to spend your hard-earned dollars. I definitely appreciate you choosing to shop local with Razorback Armory as your go-to shop for firearms, silencers, ammo, and accessories. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres and online at razorbackarmory.com.
I'm Gia Valenti, and I personally invite you to tune into my show, Moxie Minutes with Gia, Saturday mornings at 10 to learn about all things parenting. Moxie Minutes with Gia is the closest you'll get to that manual that doesn't come with your kids. Parenting experts will join me to discuss sleep habits, homework, mental health, and so much more. Submit your questions on Facebook at the Learn with Moxie Facebook page and tune in to Moxie Minutes with Gia every Saturday morning at 10. Brought to you by Gold Shield Security, real police officers who are there when you need them.
If you want to be successful in business, surround yourself with good people. If you want to be a successful contractor, then you've got to team up with the right supplier. Rick Pogue here. Arrowhead Building Supply understands the minute your day starts, time is money. With our exclusive 315 service platform, we offer 3-hour delivery to your job site or 15-minute pickup on anything in stock, be it siding, roofing, decks, windows, doors, gutters, or even stone. By the way, you will talk to a real person when you call Arrowhead. No voicemail. Call or stop by the location near you and let us help you grow your business today. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
You know, I've got, are you here till after 7 or you get to go?
7, I got it. Yeah, 7.
All right, I got to get Brother Bob on the line here. He wants to ask you a question.
Sure.
You know Brother Bob?
Very well.
You do?
Stop it. What are you talking about?
All right, I didn't know you knew him. Hey, Brother Bob, how you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. Yes, sir. I'm doing real good, and I feel good about myself. 77 years old. I'm a Christian elder. I'm also a worker out here, And one of the things, I think, Mark, if you had attended Thursday, Jamala Rogers and them had a community violence update report after they had went to Kansas City to observe it firsthand where she lived. So I videotape as usual. I kind of document everything. Here's one of the problems we have. Pure is good in the communities that's located. All they do is just push the crime into other communities where they aren't. And you have a lot of things. But we keep treating symptoms and not solving the problem. Do you know how much money the executive director of Bella Family Life, Malik Ahmed, makes a week?
Something I am aware that it is big money.
Over $2,000 a week. How much do James Clark make? What they do, they put up signs. We got to stop killing each other. Okay, all nationalities are killing each other. We have a lot of protests and marches. I think we do need to have, and I'm from the civil rights movement. I've been in protests all across this country and everything. So we need it, but we need to be able to come up with solutions. I've been proposing a master plan, which I broke that story when you was on with Jamie 7 months ago. I'm still working on it. Am I getting much support? No. We need a master plan. We need to get Ashland Middle School, put in a business incubator. Let's start solving problems. We need to put a strip mall on Natural Bridge, the Newstead, all the way down to Fair or to Grand. Am I getting support on that? Lip service. And I have asked, I don't beg no politician for money. I don't ask nobody for money. And I'm broke. I survive off of $863 a month. Now, God is good to me. But let me tell you, we keep marching, we keep demonstrating. That's not solving the problem. We got to start looking for a 3 to 5 year projection plan down the road. The things that I'm proposing, Ferguson will get millions of dollars. Look what they're doing there. They're building. We need to do the same thing because we didn't get our fair share, apparently, of the tax dollars. Look at the fallout from the Team 4 plan.
Right. I think, hey, listen, Brother Bob, I have only a minute left here. I think, what you're talking about is so, I've got your phone number, obviously. Well, I'm going to call you. I ran into a guy named Scott Pressler over the weekend, and he and I are working something up. I talked to him about you, and so you and I are going to have a conversation next couple of days, and I'll let you know what's going on. But this is the kind of stuff, and appreciate you, Brother Bob, that he's talking about. And I realize you're kind of in that realm. I mean, you're not. I mean, you come in here and blow smoke about guns and all this other nonsense, but you actually are not too far off in terms of noticing that the issues are bigger than just a gun issue.
Well, far bigger. And we have no time to tell the story again, but Eric
I've
Greitens,
got 3 more hours.
Yeah,
You don't have
I
time.
gotta go. But Eric Greitens and I were working on some serious things together with the St. Louis Public Schools until he was booted out of office by people who didn't know what the heck they were doing.
I'm with you, brother. Great. Thanks for being with us.
This hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Locked and loaded. The phrase used by President Trump discussing a pending U.S. response to the attack on Saudi oil production facilities. Mr. Trump says the United States prepared to respond forcefully to the attack, which the BBC's Frank Gardner says is unprecedented.
I've been to Abqaiq, where this oil facility is, and when I visited some years ago, the Saudis showed me 7 concentric rings of security that they had around it, because obviously this is the pulsing, beating economic heart of Saudi Arabia. It's its petrochemical industry, what processes it. They have defended very successfully against on-the-ground attacks in the past by al-Qaeda, who tried to penetrate those defenses.
The U.S. blames Iran for the attack. Tehran denies it. The attack cut Saudi oil output by half. Crude prices on global markets are soaring. 49,000 General Motors workers have gone on strike.
UAW!
From WBKO-TV, those union workers walking the picket lines outside a GM facility in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The dispute focusing on pay, health care, and job security. More talk scheduled later this morning. OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma filing for bankruptcy protection. Correspondent Jeff Mulvihill covers opioid litigation.
One of the major issues remaining for the bankruptcy judge to sort out will be whether lawsuits against the Sacklers, the family that owns the company, can move ahead in state courts.
Purdue Pharma facing thousands of lawsuits, potentially billions of dollars in liability over the opioid crisis. Taiwan says the Solomon Islands has switched diplomatic recognition to mainland China. Taipei is condemning the move. On Wall Street, stock futures deep in the red. Dow futures down about 96 points. S&P futures 11 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Still some pretty clear roads out there for our Monday morning. It's a great start. The only thing we're looking at right now is construction. We've got some midday work coming up today. We're going to see that from 9 to 3 on northbound and southbound 270 south of 44. 44 eastbound, roadwork in place before 270, and that will be there until the end of the year. And 44 eastbound from Hampton to Grand Boulevard, roadwork continues there until the end of the year as well. So a lot of roadwork, but right now, no delays. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny, hot and humid today. Winds northwest 6 to 12 miles per hour and a high of 92. Mainly clear, warm and humid this evening, low 70. For Tuesday, partly sunny, hot and humid and a high of 91. Partly sunny for Wednesday, hot, high 92. I'm Maddie Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, ladies and gents, Tammy Mitchell-Hines and Company. Tammy and her team, they are selling 30 homes. I mean, one home every 30 hours. The 30 homes, you just go 30 hours. Well, that's pretty much, a month and a half, and she's already sold 30 homes. So this is a great business that she has put together, and with a fantastic team that is well taken care of, and they are out there doing everything to sell your home or get you into that dream home of yours. Tammy Mitchell-Hines and Company is the largest and the only independent real estate agency in southwestern Illinois, the number one independent one. And that independence is a big deal. That independence affords her the ability to have wiggle room. And it affords her the ability not just to work with somebody with $1 million home. She could work with somebody with a $200,000 home. It doesn't matter. She can pivot. She can move. She can get the job done for you. And she throws in a moving van. All that and more with Tammy Mitchell-Hines and Company. Call Tammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
If you don't know it now, wake up and smell the coffee. Hey, we're in a culture war in America. This is left versus right, and the stakes are high. This radio station is deeply involved in the fray, and we know many of you are too. We want to find a few who are true culture warriors, fighting the good fight and suffering the slings and arrows of public discontent because of it. So go to this station's website right now to nominate the Salem Culture Warrior of the Year. It's time to honor a few great people. The Answer, STL.com.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK.
This portion of the Allman in the Morning Show is brought to you in part by Suntrip Volvo Cars, West County. Visit WCVolvoCars.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon.
texting with Nick and Nick Schroer, and you should see what is happening with Nick Schroer and this guy who, and I'm going to talk to him at 8:30. But there's this guy who lost. It's a Missouri Democrat committee man who got his butt kicked by Senator Crawford back in 2018, and he's still out there. His name is Joe Poor, and you can find him at Joe for Mo 28. Joe for Mo 28, and he is. Was on Twitter, and Congressman, but Representative Schroer is a great guy. He works over there at Arrowhead Building Supply. He's the general counsel there, but also a state rep, and really strong conservative, kind of more along the lines of the Freedom Caucus type, and a great guy. And we've had him on before. He's going to call in at 8:30. We're going to talk to him. We're going to call him. I'll text you his number, Maxie. So he. Somebody was going after Nick and said, "Hey, Nick, you need to get laid." That was laid. That was the terminology. And then Joe Poor said, "Buy a semi truck at 80 miles an hour." So this is a Democrat Missouri committeeman. Obviously, what time is it? 12:29 a.m. So he's probably, you know what. So it's 12:30 in the morning, and Joe Poor decides he's going to make a wish for the death of Nick Schroer. Then Schroer goes on and says, "It seems the Missouri Democrat committeeman is still under the influence of whatever illegal narcotic he was on when he wished death upon me last night." And he said, "The tolerant left is down the hall. We're the you fascist can go F yourselves left." So that's Joe Poor, who is regurgitating these Antifa type things, and he's probably just some punk ass who blows hard on Twitter, and decided they're gonna go after and start talking about the death of a state rep. But that's the kind of stuff you're getting in local politics, and especially with the left. This Joe Poor guy's pathetic, and we'll talk more about him at 8:30. His name is Joe Poor. I expect him to be on Twitter. Do you find him on Twitter there? Yeah, it's Joe with the 4 number Mo 28. And if you all want to go on Twitter and tell Joe how much you appreciate him, I'm sure he'll appreciate it. You can maybe make him go pull a gun, you know. See how mad you can make Joe Poor. Although it's morning, so he might be sober. But see if you can actually get him angry. I bet you can. Should I put those shades down, or are they okay? Okay. You all right? Yeah. You sure? Yeah. Don't be. You got to be sure. That doesn't. Yeah, like that. That's not a real sure. Yeah. Yeah. Like when you say something like, "Are you sure?" Yeah. That doesn't seem like you're sure. Okay. Anyway.
Have you seen a picture of Joe Poor?
No.
Oh, man. You're going to love it.
What is he, some fat slob?
I can't wait, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I figured. I figured as much. Yeah, well. Nothing wrong with being fat, but when you're a fat slob, then it's a problem. But yeah, you better leave my buddy Nick alone, punk. So anyway, yeah, okay. So the lighting's okay in here. I feel a little weird with this, with the window like that. Oh, that's him. Oh, he's got. He's a tough guy. Look at him. Yeah, man. It's Joe Poor, man. I'm Joe Poor. I'm tough. Got his dumb little dyed hair going, and his beard. Yeah, he's a tough guy, I bet. Yeah. Yeah, he's. I don't know which one. I know that he got his butt kicked in 2018, so he's a sore loser. I guess we know that. But I'm sure he's a He's a tough guy. Democratic committee man, tough guy. All right, so the Beto O'Rourke deal with the guns. Beto O'Rourke is now claiming he really wasn't talking about taking people's guns away. That it wasn't going to be a real live, I'm going to come and get your guns. But he's claiming that this is not what he's doing, and I'll play that for you. But in the meantime, the Democrats and this Kavanaugh allegation thing, are we really going through this again, by the way? I'm not even going to give it any attention. It sounds so ridiculous. All the Democrat candidates have come out and called for his impeachment and everything else, but I'm not going to mess with it. So Chris Coons, a senator from Delaware, he's actually a pretty reasonable guy. Phil, I sent you this clip earlier because I was like, damn, man, I'm glad he's not running for president.
Yeah, you were out ahead of this. A couple days. You saw this, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm glad this guy's not running for president because he's, but he's bald, so he'll never be president. That's what I told Phil. I mean, I told him that, I have thinning hair. I'm not bald, but I mean, on the top of my head, I have limited hair. So I'm not bald yet. In fact, when I lost the hair I lost in 1990 in 1 year. And I've never lost any more hair after that. I don't understand that. Like it was literally 1 year where my hair fell out. I'm not kidding you. And I've never had it, and it stayed the same since. You believe that? I don't know, man. Anyway. And I told Phil, I said, you can be fat, you can be hideous looking, you can be the most annoying, whatever, and still be elected president or whatever. But if you're bald, you're out. There's no way. There's no hope for you. I'm sorry, but that's the way it's been, I don't know what that is, but and at least though he didn't do the thing where he shaved his head. You know what I mean? Or whatever that thing that troll hair that Joe Poor has on his head, whatever that is. What's that? Is that a hairpiece or something? Looks like troll hair to me. Anyway, those little plastic toy trolls. Anyway, Chris Coons is saying that Beto O'Rourke has kind of ruined it for Democrats regarding the gun issue. Here.
What about, Senator, what we heard from Congressman Beto O'Rourke last night? I'll quote him, "Hell yes, we are going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. Are you supportive of a mandatory buyback program for all of those weapons, all of those assault rifles on America's streets right now?"
I am not. And I frankly think that clip will be played for years at Second Amendment rallies with organizations that try to scare people by saying Democrats are coming for your guns. Okay. I'm a gun owner. My sons and I have gone skeet shooting and hunting, and frankly, I don't think having our presidential candidates like Congressman O'Rourke did say that we're going to try and take people's guns against their will is a wise either
did he hurt
policy
the party?
Or political move.
Senator, did he hurt the party and this fight with that statement last night? Was it irresponsible?
We'll have to see. I respect his passion.
Okay, well then he goes on to talk about respecting his passion and other nonsense. But as he points out, and it's interesting that Coons still has to kind of kiss the ring of the anti-gun people, saying that if we talk about Democrats coming after our guns, we're scaremongering. Well, you saw what happened on the stage. I mean, you saw what Beto O'Rourke said on the stage. You saw the reaction among Democrat voters when he said it. I mean, you saw this, right? You saw exactly what happened there.
O'Rourke, because I know this is personal to you. El Paso is your hometown. Some on this stage have suggested a voluntary buyback for guns in this country. You've gone further. You said, quote, Americans who own AR-15s and AK-47s will have to sell them to the government, all of them. You know the critics call this confiscation. Are you proposing taking away their guns, and how would this work?
I am, if it's a weapon that was designed to kill people on a battlefield, if the high impact, high velocity round, when it hits your body, shreds everything inside of your body because it was designed to do that so that you would bleed to death on a battlefield and not be able to get up and kill one of our soldiers. When we see that being used against children, and in Odessa, I met the mother.
He's about to lie here, by the way, just in case.
15-year-old girl who was shot by
not what
an
I'm getting
AR-15, and that mother watched her bleed to death over the course of an hour because so many other people were shot by that AR-15 in Odessa and Midland. There weren't enough ambulances to get to them in time. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
All right, so you saw and you heard all the clapping and everything else. So why is Chris Coons saying that to say Democrats want to take your guns is fear-mongering? We saw this. We see this in all of its living color here, what Beto O'Rourke is talking about. Yes, we're going to take your guns, unless Beto O'Rourke didn't mean it, which apparently might be the case, which makes him even more horrible of a person because he's now backtracking on it and saying, well, police wouldn't really go door to door. I mean, that's not really what I'm saying. Well, when you say, hell yes, we're going to take your guns, that's
in action.
And, you made the point, I'm glad you made it, that, the Briscoe Caines of the world are a minority in the world, but they are there. There are people who will very openly say, whether on social media or not, come and get them, that attitude. So if you had, for instance, a mandatory buyback policy, how would law enforcement be protected from people who are essentially admitting that the way that they would protect their ability to own these weapons is to use them?
My faith, my confidence is in the people of this country. And going to a gun show in Conway, Arkansas, and listening to the owners of AR-15s and the vendors of AR-15s, many of whom, as you can imagine, did not agree with my proposal, but each of whom was willing to at least have the conversation. Some of whom said, look, you know what? I have an AR-15.
Well, by the way, do you notice that he live streams everything, like including his dental appointments and what else has he done? Changing a tire. It's so interesting how Beto O'Rourke never has any video of any of the things he claims people tell him. Isn't that interesting? Like, especially on a big major issue like that, you would think that Beto O'Rourke would have something on tape from somebody at a gun show saying what he's claiming they said, which of course is a lie. Same lie as the bathroom story he told. Because I don't expect him to take video of the bathroom, but you never know. Here's a guy who takes video of him getting his teeth cleaned. I'm surprised he didn't roll tape in the bathroom where he claims somebody said, "Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm a Republican. I'd love to turn my gun in."
Don't need it, would gladly sell it back or destroy it. All of them seem like they would follow the law. We are a nation of laws. It's part of what defines us and distinguishes us from the rest of the world. So I believe that America will comply with the law, and I believe that there will be a due process in devising the law in the first place, where we listen to stakeholders, all concerned and affected, but do not allow the delays that we've seen that have lasted decades to stop us from finally acting on this. So I don't want to give in to the hype or some of the scare tactics that have been employed to stop us from even considering this in the first place. Much like we don't go door to door to enforce almost any law in the United States. In fact, I don't think we do that for any law in the United States. This would not be something that we would do. And I only raise that, Joy, because others have said, this is something that we would fear if there were a mandatory buyback program. No.
Why would we assume that, Beto O'Rourke? After you said, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47, how dare us assume that maybe that means you're going to go door to door? Because that's the only way you're really going to take it. Right? So now he's saying, no, we didn't really mean that. We just meant that, there's a law. So now he's backtracking on it. So really clearly what he was doing was just simply for effect, or maybe he actually did mean it, realized what he said and the idiocy of what he said and the impossibility of what he said, and now is backtracking on Joy Reid's show. Your phone calls are welcome, though, 844-855-1380. It's the calltammy.com real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It is still a pretty nice looking morning out there. We have no accidents and no delays at this hour. We do have midday road work 9 to 3. You'll see construction on northbound and southbound 270 south of 44. And your exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street, that remains closed with construction until the end of this month. The on-ramp from Van Deventer to westbound 44, that's closed with road work until the end of the year. And same thing on 44 westbound Jefferson to before Hampton Avenue, closed till the end of the year. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Hey, ladies and gents, Matthew Mitchell and the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. Matthew is such a great guy, such a great friend, such a longtime friend of the show, such a huge supporter. Even when I wasn't even on dial radio, the guy was right there for me. And he's been right there for me not only as a friend and supporter of the show, but also as my insurance guy. So I have my car, I have my home, I have my life insured with the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. And I'm telling you, you don't need to go anywhere else when it comes to your low premiums, low deductibles, and excellent coverage. Save some money. If you're not with the Allstate Agency, Matthew Mitchell and the Allstate Agency, I guarantee you, you're paying too much. I guarantee you, if you're not hooked up with these guys, you're automatically paying too much for your deductibles, and I think you're probably paying too much for little aspects of your home insurance as well. So let Matthew review what you have, and he'll set you straight. He'll be able to let you know that there is a different answer, there is a different way, and he will take care of business for you and save you a ton of money. It is the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency. 855-QUOTE-ME. That's 855-QUOTE-ME.
Farmers Insurance knows the difference between a car hitting your bumper and a clown car hitting your bumper.
Sorry about that.
Because at Farmers, we've seen and covered it.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Are you a writer who's devoted your time to writing a book with Christian morals behind it but need help to get it published? Maybe you wrote a children's book, your memoirs, a devotional, or a mystery with strong moral values at its core. Covenant Books has helped faith-based authors publish, edit, and sell their books through Christian bookstores and major online book retailers. Plus, if you call now at 800-580-1838, we're offering a free author's information kit to help you through the publishing process. Our experienced and dedicated staff will review and notate your manuscript with an editor's eye. Then our page designers will format your book to create the appropriate experience for your readers. And if needed, Covenant's talented illustrators will bring your book to life. Most importantly, Covenant Books will help tell your story by printing, marketing, and distributing your book through specialty Christian bookstores and major online book retailers like Amazon, Apple, and many others. Covenant Books. Let us help tell your story. For your free author's information packet, call 800-580-1838. That's 800-580-1838. 800-580-1838.
Hi, this is Scott Ferguson, the Director of Outreach at St. Matthew. There's something exciting happening at St. Matt's, and I'd like to invite you to experience it. We have a service at 9 a.m. with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra, and our contemporary service at 11 a.m. with our praise band. We can't wait to see you there. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Interested in purchasing a silencer? Stop by and talk to the pros at Razorback Armory, the region's only full-service, silver-level silencer shop dealer. With our state-of-the-art all-digital process, we will be with you every step of the way. For your account setup, fingerprints, photographs, and federal forms. All are done promptly and professionally in-shop while you wait. Stop in and check out our vast selection of silencers and other NFA items at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres, and online at razorbackarmory.com.
America's First News with Matt Ray gets you up to speed mornings from 4 to 6, right before Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I've never seen you look like this without a reason.
Lots of phone calls here. Let's get to Jim on line 1. Jimmy, thanks for calling the show. How are you?
Yeah, hey, I just don't understand why the pro-gun people aren't constantly bringing up the fact that every time a guy like this guy opens his mouth about confiscating our guns, that we are not mentioning that he's advocating taking away one of the Bill of Rights, one of the first 10 amendments. And if we were to say, okay, we're going to restrict the freedom of political campaign people to speak their mind on an issue, to speak what they want to speak, the press would go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And people would be going crazy. But when they're restricting the citizens' rights to have the Second Amendment, to enjoy the Second Amendment, we're silent.
Yeah, no, I'm
like,
with
go
you.
along with them. And so the argument should end right at the point where we say, sorry, Second Amendment, the argument is over. Now we're going to go on to another issue.
Right.
And
If we argue at all with him, Jim, because I don't think he's really worth it. Thanks for calling the show. Darren, thanks for calling the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, Jamie. How are you this
Good morning
morning?
this morning, Darren.
So, this Beto O'Rourke, man, I don't know if you heard, you probably did, and thank you for watching that so I didn't have to. But he says we're a nation of laws, but we're only a nation of laws when it suits him. We're not a nation of laws when it comes to immigration.
No, I know.
So then we have to just sort of ignore those laws.
Yeah, I noticed that automatically. He said we're a nation of laws. It's like if a conservative ever said that in talking about illegal immigration, he'd be the first to knock them down. These guys are crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, brother.
Man.
Yeah,
All
thanks.
right, have a good day, man.
All right,
Take
Darren,
care.
thank you very much. I appreciate you calling the show. Josh is on line 3. Josh, what's up, buddy?
Jamie, it's just the same thing. He makes this statement about taking our guns, and just like Corky Booger's I am Spartacus moment, it just made him feel good at the time. If these people get called out for, like what your previous caller just said, it's only convenient for them. We're a nation of laws, but we're a nation that was based, the laws are based on that Constitution. Have a good day, Jamie.
Thank you, buddy. I think he just said Corky Booger. Did you really? That was awesome. These names that people give people, that's pretty darn funny. All right, coming up, we'll take your phone calls on the Kavanaugh thing if you want. Have you seen how, first of all, now the New York Times is kind of walking back its report on this Kavanaugh claim. It turns out the woman who was supposedly assaulted or whatever doesn't even remember the event. But let me tell you something. The New York Times can walk it back, but every single Democrat candidate who called for his impeachment, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Well, you know what they'll do? They'll be ignored by the news media. They won't ask these candidates to account for what they said too early, and they'll just move on to the next story. That's how it works in the news media business with the media. 844-855-1380 to call Tammy.com. Real estate listener line.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Locked and loaded, the phrase being used by President Trump discussing a pending U.S. response to the missile and drone attack on Saudi oil production facilities. Mr. Trump says the U.S. prepared to respond forcefully to the attack, which Washington blames on Iran. 49,000 General Motors workers are on strike, a dispute focusing on pay, health care, and job security. More contract talks scheduled later this morning. OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The company faces thousands of lawsuits, potentially billions of dollars in liability over the opioid crisis. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a lower open. Right now, Dow futures are down about 85 points. S&P futures off 9. NASDAQ futures 38 points in the red. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
It is still a pretty nice-looking morning out there. We have no accidents and no delays at this hour. We do have midday road work, 9 to 3. You'll see construction on northbound and southbound 270 south of 44. And your exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street, that remains closed with construction until the end of this month. The on-ramp from Van Deventer to westbound 44. That's closed with roadwork until the end of the year. And same thing on 44 westbound Jefferson to before Hampton Avenue, closed till the end of the year. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny, hot, and humid today. Winds northwest 6 to 12 miles per hour and a high of 92. Mainly clear, warm, and humid this evening, low 70. For Tuesday, partly sunny, hot, and humid and a high of 91. Partly sunny for Wednesday, hot, high 92. I'm Maddie Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hi, this is Gia, the host of Moxie Minutes with Gia, and you might be wondering why I even do this radio thing. Ultimately, my show is all about communication and education. I founded Learn with Moxie to help our kids to become better communicators in a screen-obsessed world. If you're interested in getting to Learn with Moxie curriculum in your school, contact me at learnwithmoxie.com. That's learnwithmoxie.com. And as always, keep talking.
Call the 1380 The Answer listener line and tell us, what do you think?
Yes, this is Brian, Illini Brian. And Jamie Allman speaks for me. And it will be so great hearing my voice back on the radio again.
The 1380 Answer listener line. Call 844-825-1380. That's 844-825-1380. It's your turn to speak up.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK.
This portion of the Allman in the Morning Show is brought to you in part by Suntrip Volvo Cars, West County. Visit WCVolvoCars.com.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Like this without a reason, another promise falling through, another season passes by you. I never took the smile away from anybody's face, and that's a desperate way to look for someone who is still a child in a big country. Dreams stay with you like a lover's voice.
Sorry, it was delayed. We were just trying to get this thing going on with Nick and preparing. This morning's been kind of discombobulated. You know what I mean? Been kind of, I don't know. I'm not really. I got too many irons in the fire. You know what I'm saying? It's been kind of crazy. Did you see this this situation? With whatever happened to Forbes magazine? Like normally Forbes, I thought Forbes was a conservative magazine. Does that feel conservative to you? Dude, I'm really concerned about I know that we don't have, I know a lot of people are just listening, they're not watching, but that window is bothering me. Should it not be? Should it be? Put it down? Hang on, people. You know what? See, this is why something just isn't.
Yeah, it's blowing out the right side of the screen, because it's a beautiful, almost sunny day.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a beautiful day. I have no problem with the beautiful days. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I don't like beautiful days. You're claiming I don't like beautiful days.
Yeah, I thought you didn't like beautiful days.
You're saying, oh, he must not like beautiful days.
Right.
That's probably what everybody's thinking now that you planted that seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now people are all on Twitter going, Allman doesn't like beautiful days.
Hashtag why, Jamie?
Why? Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Get a life. I don't know. There's something about it. It weirds me out too because I'm telling you, I'm not very particular about things. I really am not. I am very easygoing. Right? Do you think that you see? Are you able to say that?
I would tell people you are very easygoing to a point. To a point, but you're very professional too. So
right, yeah. Right. I'm easygoing to a point. Right. Okay. Maxie, I'm pretty easygoing for a person in this industry, aren't I?
I will say that I agree with Phil to a point.
Yeah, to a point. Yeah, because at some point, then things get. I mean, but that doesn't mean that I'm not easygoing. It just means I'm easygoing to a point. And I think everybody's easygoing to a point, right? I mean, not everybody's always easygoing, are they?
You're easier going than many people, I think.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Like a Sunday morning.
That's what I was trying to squeak out of you, one of you people. I'm just saying that most people, I've watched other people operate, and I'm pretty easygoing. I like things certain ways, radio wise, but otherwise in my life I'm pretty easygoing. But I take my job very seriously. So like when Mark Kaysen came in and his cell phone was going off, it's like that's like a crime to me. You know what I mean? I feel like I bet you if you ask Father Tom how he feels when he's giving his homily or going through the Eucharistic prayer, he hears a phone going off, how he feels about that.
Or confession. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Or confession. Anyway. So that light bothers me. It's kind of like I get really weirded out by hallway lights being on. Like, I don't like hallway lights on. Like, like you're in some place, like you're in your bedroom or something, and there's a hallway light on. Drives me nuts. I don't know why. It drives me crazy. Lighting is very important to me. But whatever reason, that hallway light always kind of freaks me out a little bit. I don't know why that is. It's kind of weird. I'm probably more disturbed than I think I am. Anyway, Forbes magazine. So I thought they were conservative. I thought, or at the very least reasonable. So they come out with this article, and they have gone off the deep end on this climate change thing. And they claim that climate change has a whole slew of negative effects on all of us, including lost productivity, violent crime, and cognitive decline. And for Forbes magazine to hop on this bandwagon that climate change is responsible for all of this country's ills is really weird, especially I would see Time magazine doing this. So they quoted this economist, Marshall Burke, who claims that climate change has already cost the U.S. economy $1 trillion. And he says the cost will rise to $5 trillion by 2050. And he's taking these numbers by saying that lost productivity is one of the things he takes into account. The economic output falls in hot years as opposed to cooler ones. Closely related to lost productivity is cognitive decline. So he says that people perform office tasks less effectively, and kids learn less and score worse on standardized tests when it's hot outside. I kid you not. This is in Forbes magazine. Hot temperatures make us dumber, said the writer in Forbes magazine. Third on the list of the side effects of climate change would be violent crime. He says that violent crime spikes during heat waves. Now, of course, that's probably true that when it's hot outside and warm outside, there's more violent crime, which is why any police officer will tell you that when winter comes and it starts to snow, it's a great time in the lives of everyone because it keeps the people from going crazy. Stats show that violent assault, sexual violence, and homicide all increase on days or months where temperatures are above normal. Right? That might be true, but is that because of climate change that temperatures are above normal? I mean, I'll tell you one thing. If you spent a winter in St. Louis last winter, you would think there was no such thing as climate change. It was a pretty bad winter. But then they always say, well, that's climate change too. I'm like, really? I mean, is everything climate change now? Every little thing? Boy, Brian and what's his face on Fox and Friends, what's his name again? What's the other guy's name? Steve Ducey. The women on Fox and Friends this morning are all these tall, leggy Amazon beauties, right? And Brian and Steve look like little boys. I'm not kidding you. If you flip it on and you see what's going on, these women are all like walking around. And these guys look like two wooden puppets. I'm not kidding you. They're completely just outgunned by these women. It's pretty amazing. I think that's Katie Pavlich in between them, right? Yeah, but they look like two little third graders. These women all running around them. It's crazy. I mean, it's not that they're good. They're ogling. They just look like they're out of their league, you know? These women dressed to the nines. Here's another one coming out in a zebra dress. I mean, you know, these guys don't know what to do. They're in their stupid little blue suits. Like, what am I going to do? Anyway, so not only violent crime towards others, they say, but suicide can be blamed on climate change. He goes and predicts that future warming could lead to tens of thousands of additional suicides by the mid-century. So the guy who wrote this article is quoting this guy, but he's also making his own depictions here. And he says that civil unrest, immigration, economic inequality, and even insurance collapses are all going to be the result of climate change. Here's another one. This is an article in Forbes that is hopping on the bandwagon of all kinds of disasters that have been blamed on climate change by journalists. One of them even claimed that there was going to be a reduction, and this would harm us, Phil, in coffee production because of climate change. So there was the climate change guys at first said that global warming was threatening the world coffee supply and the jobs of 125 million people. Now, first of all, there's no way 125 million people are employed in the coffee industry, right? Because I only know one guy who's making it big, and that's Juan Valdez. And he runs around on his horse or that mule or whatever he's on, and he just picks the beans. No wonder my coffee's so expensive. Juan's out there picking it hand by hand. Juan, get a machine. Make my coffee cheaper. You see, I go out and individually pick every bean. It's like, I don't want you to do that because it makes my coffee expensive. It's like everybody's handcrafted. That means it's 10 times more expensive than if it weren't. Anyway, National Geographic was part of this. They warned that fungus, climate change, threatening that there's a fungus that is wiping out coffee crops and hurting the supply. It's called coffee leaf rust. Scientists, though, say there's no evidence at all that this is true. We found no evidence for an overall trend in disease risk in coffee-growing regions of Colombia. Therefore, while weather conditions were more conducive to disease outbreaks from 2008 to 2011, we reject the climate change hypothesis. And it's true. Weather can create all kinds of different things, but these people who noticed some kind of increase in disease automatically attributed it to climate change, and that's not the case. Hurricanes, you've already seen the lie related to hurricanes. We haven't had a major disastrous hurricane for 12 years in this country. And yet, when Dorian came along, although there's another one popping around now, Humberto is coming to take your wives away. That'd be great if they like Humberto's going to be a romantic hurricane. He's going to come and kiss all the American ladies. Humberto! Or he's going to come and pick some strawberries out there in California once he gets done devastating the East Coast. Humberto's going to come. I'm going to, after I devastate the East Coast, I'm going to go and join up with Juan Valdez and pick coffee beans with him, you see. They also claimed that climate change changed, they dropped the population of Hawaiian monk seals and migratory songbirds. And last year, although I don't mean to laugh about this because but it is kind of ridiculous. Stevie Wonder said that climate change caused the cancer that killed Aretha Franklin. I don't know, man. You never know. Don't look at me like I'm just making that up. He said that. Songwriter Stevie Wonder says climate change caused the cancer that killed iconic soul singer Aretha Franklin. Here, you want to? I mean, you know what? You're looking at me like I'm joking. But you want to hear him do it?
You know, I knew Respect from Otis Redding, but when I heard her sing, it was almost like hearing a whole new song. Amazing what she did with this song. Originally done by Otis Redding, but you know, another similarity to that is the song that I wrote, Till You Come Back to Me. I did it, and
see if I can find
Till You
it.
Come Back to Me. Someone said, no, I don't mind at all.
I love Stevie Wonder.
Really, I'm too emotional to think about any singing right now. But it's a celebration. We have to celebrate her life and continue the legacy by letting people of all the various genres hear the music that influenced us all. I've known sometime about her condition, and I just prayed that even though the odds were very, 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 very crazy when you think maybe 1 out of or 2 out of 100, you know, would succeed or would beat this thing. I just feel that all these various diseases that we have and all these things that are happening in the world, in part, is because there are those who don't believe in global warming, don't believe that what we do affects the world, what we eat affects the world, and affects us. And
you thought I was kidding, didn't you? You really thought I was just making fun of the blind guy, right? You thought I was just simply, you know, making a gratuitous shot at Stevie Wonder. I'm not. He did actually, you know, and he's right about all the other things that he said there, where all kinds of things we're eating and some of the things we're exposed to, I have no doubt cause a certain level of illness among Americans and people around the world and things like that. But, I mean, technically he seemed to be blaming global warming for Aretha Franklin's cancer. And remember the guy who was always trying to find the Loch Ness Monster? This is back in 2008. His name is Robert Rines. He said, I'm not going to look for Nessie anymore. I've been looking for her for 37 years, but I think that Nessie has died. Now, what do you think caused the death of Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, in the eyes of the Loch Ness Monster hunter? Yes, Phil, for 20.
Climate change.
Yes.
Sweet.
He says that the Loch Ness Monster is dead and was killed by global warming. So there you go. So Forbes is playing all into this whole thing. They didn't print that in the article, but I mean, it's getting kind of ridiculous when Forbes gets involved in this thing. The calltammy.com real estate listener lines 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio, people.
Call the show at 844-855-1380 and interact with Jamie on the calltammy.com listener line. That's 844-855-1380. More Allman in the Morning next on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
I've been trying to lose weight for 12 years now, but nothing ever works long term. Low carb, low fat, keto, fasting. I need help.
Hello, this is Dr. Jim Hankinson of Back to Wellness Chiropractic. I am the leading doctor when it comes to weight loss management in St. Louis. We offer a proven program that will help you lose weight and make healthy lifestyle changes. To learn more, go to stlbackdoc.com. That's stlbackdoc.com. And don't forget to listen to my weekly wellness show every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. right here on The Answer.
Oh, yeah. Is it my turn right now, Maxie? Oh, okay, yeah, he dropped traffic. Okay, all right, sorry, that was my fault. Traffic's fine, people. I'm looking out there right now. It looks like there's a little bit of a bottleneck there in the accelerator lane over there. And then there's some guy going too slow, as usual. I don't know. Maybe the guy doesn't have work to do. Maybe he doesn't have a job, so he's just out there disrupting. So he doesn't have a job, so he says, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out in rush hour traffic and just drive really slow and drive people crazy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch people go crazy. I'm going to have my GoPro out and everything else, and I'm going to watch them snarl at me and honk at me and everything else. But anyway, I know I'm sorry we dropped traffic, but traffic is just fine. My only advice to you all is to speed up, because we got stuff we got to do. We got commerce we got to take care of here. And if you're not out there, then I guarantee you go to your computer, you go to michaelsflooringoutlet.com and go flooring shopping, because I'm telling you what, this $500 coupon is still out there for you, the $500 off coupon, and you are on your way to getting some great deals on some of the most beautiful flooring you're going to find anywhere in the land. And Michael just makes it all part of his process to make it as easy for you to shop at your computer, so you don't have to worry about messing around with all the other stuff, going out to the big box stores or going out to the store itself. There's even a person who will come on the line with you and talk you through it, and it's boiled right down to whatever store you happen to want to shop at. So you're talking about St. Peter's, Darden Prairie, or you're talking about going to the Creve Coeur or the Florissant location, they'll come to you on the computer even. So, and you can see all the customer reviews and see all the different varieties of flooring, even pricing. And so you can do as much as you can just at the computer. michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Started this business 25 years ago with $700 in his pocket. Now he is the king of flooring. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
On eBay, you can ride the high of a shopping spree without feeling the guilt of a spending spree. Check eBay before you pay too much for that thing you love and get exactly what you want for a price that works for you. When you're overpaying, get exactly what you want on eBay.
There's a place for you at St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
You've had your new truck for a few weeks now. Looks good. But now you're realizing running boards would make your ride look great. Since you're gonna buy a boat, you need a hitch. Oh, and what about a floor liner? Let's keep it looking nice. Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois. Selling top brands for trucks like bug shields, step bars, and bed liners for over 20 years. See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois, or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com. Now with free installation and a lifetime warranty on vent visors and bug shields.
Hi, this is Jess with Razorback Armory in Des Peres. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Answer listeners for their continued patronage and support over the last 4 years. I know there are many choices out there for you to spend your hard-earned dollars. I definitely appreciate you choosing to shop local with Razorback Armory as your go-to shop for firearms, silencers, ammo, and accessories. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres and online at RazorbackArmory.com.
Are you looking for your dream home, but it doesn't seem to exist? You've tried to figure it out on your own, but don't know what step to take next? Don't worry, I'm Tammy, owner of Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate, and my team and I are ready to help ease that stress. Go to calltammy.com to set up your stress-free appointment today. Give me an idea of what you're looking for, and we will do the rest. If you buy or sell a house with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Go to calltammy.com.
Dennis Prager, this morning at 11. Now, more Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Coming up, the Gateway pundit Jimmy Haas going to be joining me. Stories to tell over the weekend as we met up with some great grassroots conservatives, some of whom, as I pointed out on the Facebook page, I'm going to be starting some new projects with, which is great. And especially as we revamp here, as we stop down on the dial and 1380 and 105.3 go away. By the time I come back on the dial, and I'll still be here at the Radio Free Allman Facebook page and on the app and everything else. So make sure you still stay with me. We're still doing the show, but working on some plans with some very special people to get back on the radio. And so and these people will be part of that rebuild there and resurgence. It'll be great. The calltammy.com real estate list line is 844-855-1380.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Who attacked a key oil production facility in Saudi Arabia? Energy Secretary Rick Perry says the U.S. knows.
The United States wholeheartedly condemns Iran's attack on the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
The weekend drone attack on Saudi Arabia has heightened tensions in the Mideast, prompting a National Security Council meeting at the White House. On Twitter, the president said the U.S. had reason to believe it knew who was behind the attack, and he raised the prospect of a military response by tweeting that the United States is locked and loaded. Meanwhile, the president has approved the release of U.S. strategic petroleum reserves, if needed, to stabilize energy markets. Greg Clugston, Washington.
They're making some noise. From WXYT TV, striking General Motors workers picket a Detroit area GM plant. 49,000 GM workers striking General Motors. That dispute focusing on pay, benefits, and job security. Workers have shut down 33 manufacturing plants in 9 states, as well as 22 parts distribution warehouses. The first national strike by the union since a 2-day walkout back in 2007. More talks have been scheduled for later today. Purdue Pharma has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, part of a move to settle some 2,600 lawsuits stemming from the opioid crisis. The Sackler family, which owns Purdue, says the settlement could be worth up to $12 billion over time, calling it a historic step toward providing critical resources that address a tragic public health situation. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a lower open in about a half hour. Right now, Dow futures are down 97 points. S&P futures 10 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One accident causing problems right now. Northbound 55, a left lane blocked before Loughborough with a crash. The backup starts at Revis Barracks, so that is tightening up there. Everything else, though, pretty much road work. Your exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison, that's closed with road work until the end of this month. And the exit from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street also closed with road work until the end of the month. But 44 westbound Jefferson to before Hampton, you've got road work there. That's in place until the end of the year, so long term there. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny, hot and humid today. Winds northwest 6 to 12 miles per hour and a high of 92. Mainly clear, warm and humid this evening, low 70. For Tuesday, partly sunny, hot and humid and a high of 91. Partly sunny for Wednesday, hot, high 92. I'm Maddie Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this week is the big rollout week. This is the official grand opening of the Arrowhead Building Supply 5,000 square foot showroom. It's open now, so it's been open for a while, but you know how grand openings go. They just kind of have the official party, and that's going to be this Thursday. And we're going to be rolling it out. It's going to be a ton of fun. At arrowheadbuildingsupply.com, you can get all the details, and it's going to be an all-day-long affair. I think I had the date right. I got to double check that. Anyway, we've been waiting for this for a while and talking about the grand opening and talking about this beautiful showroom. 5,000 square feet. Inside of it is an entire home. You could actually live in this home. It's built inside of the showroom. And it has all the inside and outside elegance lines of home improvement products. And these are beautiful, by the way. The inside, it's where Rob Very, for instance, gets its cabinets for home remodeling, kitchen cabinets, and also railings, banisters, all these kinds of things that are going to really make the inside moldings, the inside of your home look absolutely gorgeous. Then the outside, where you have cedar shake and you have copper guttering and all these beautiful things that are going to make your home look alive from the outside as well. And then they have the cube, and the cube is cool because you just put a picture of your home into the cube, and then you can see how all this stuff looks on your home. In almost in real life. It just is it's a picture, but it's very, very realistic, and it really helps you along the way. Contractors, the 315 guarantee, they love Arrowhead and how well Arrowhead takes care of contractors. They even get you on a referral service list, so if you happen to be at the showroom and you're just a homeowner and you don't have a contractor, they've got all the names that you need for that. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com. That's ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
On eBay, you can ride the high of a shopping spree without feeling the guilt of a spending spree. Check eBay before you pay too much for that thing you love and get exactly what you want for a price that works for you. When you're overpaying, get exactly what you want on eBay.
I'm Ron DeRostra in for Lou Dobbs. UPS agrees to pay $8.4 million for overcharging the government. New pharma owners hid funds in Swiss bank accounts, and Zantac may contain contaminants. Those stories next.
I'm Bobby Richards with today's 1-Minute Money Report. The New York Times recently reported on an unusual way Americans are making money. They found over 10,000 people who broke the golden rule of investing and became millionaires. The stories included people from all walks of life, including writers, professional bowlers, and blues guitarists, even a set of grandparents.
We broke the golden rule of investing and turned $16,000 into $2 million.
And here's one person who agrees with what they're doing, Warren Buffett. He says blindly following Wall Street's golden rule is just protection against ignorance. And Alexander Green, perhaps the top stock picker in America, told his 140,000 followers that if they break this rule, they can retire on just one investment. His video immediately went viral. You can view it for yourself at onestockretirement.com and decide if you should break the golden rule too. Again, that's onestockretirement.com. If your retirement isn't what you want it to be, go see what 10,000 people have already used to become millionaires.
Paid for by Oxford Club.
United Parcel Service will pay $8.4 million to settle charges it overcharged the U.S. government for package deliveries. The fine stems from UPS failing to live up to terms of its agreement with the General Accounting Office. Even as a multi-state effort to settle lawsuits in the opioid crisis was being negotiated, the Sackler family, owners of OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma, were revealed to have hidden millions of company dollars in Swiss bank accounts. A New York judge says filings in the action revealed at least $1 billion in transfers. The federal government's investigating reports the popular heartburn drug Zantac may contain harmful contaminants. The FDA says a chemical found in Zantac and other remedies potentially can cause cancer. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my old saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise. I want to ride to the ridge where the west commences. Gaze at the moon until I lose my senses. I can't look at hovels and I can't stand fences. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in.
Yes. It's GatewayPundit.com. The GatewayPundit.com. It's the Gateway Pundit time with Jimmy Hoft. And, buddy, listen, man, it was an honor. It was a privilege. It was fun to be able to hang out with you over a couple of days with this big event that you co-sponsored. And it was just amazing. Met so many great people. I so appreciate you including me. And, buddy, I just love you and all that you do and your bravery and your tenacity. It just was awesome. So thank you very much for all that, buddy.
Hey, Jimmy, it's great to see you this weekend. We had some good fun, and it's always good to have you around. So
yeah,
that was a good time.
Yeah, it was a good time. I'm sure you're exhausted by now as hard as you work to make this thing happen and bring in all these fantastic people. So it was a ton of fun, and being introduced to Rose Tennant and Scott Pressler, and just to see Katie O'Malley again, and Andrew Marcus was in the studio on Thursday shooting a little bit, the documentary he's doing about you. And so it's going to be a good year, and we're gonna be back. And I noticed you posted something that Steve Bannon said about the 2020 election. But before we get to that, this is one of the reasons why the Gateway Pundit is different than all the other outlets out there. Before we get to the Kavanaugh thing, because I want to get to that because you have some really good stuff on this. I saw this video of the street thugs in Minnesota beating up a guy, and it's very clear that it's a bunch of black dudes beating up a white dude. And I was gonna put something out there, and I just didn't have time, about one headline you're never gonna see is group of black men beat up white victim. Now, if this were a group of white men beating up a black guy, this would be the #1 news story on every single network you could possibly imagine. But apparently, if you're white and you get beaten up by a bunch of black thugs, that's just a day's work for you. That's just expected. You're going to have to put up with that.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, that if the roles were reversed and the races were reversed, this would be the biggest scandal of the year. It would top a Spygate scandal because it's so brutal when you watch this public beating of this guy who up in Minnesota was just sitting there, I think, playing dice with one guy, and he gets surrounded by this gang, and they just beat the hell out of him, Jamie. It's really disturbing. I mean, when you see stuff like this, you're like, where's the humanity? You know, isn't there somebody there that this you know, hits them inside their heart that says, wait a minute, we got to stop? I mean, they're nearly killing this guy. They run over him with a bike. They throw a potted plant at him. He's down on the ground. They're doing, you know, dives on top of him as he's, you know, literally half unconscious. And it's just very, very disturbing. So, again, our media is so corrupt today that they're not going to give the American public a fair shot. They're not going to be honest about, you know, any topic, really. I mean, you just pick the topic. It's just they're biased about everything. And this is just one story that's going to slip under the radar. And it's very brutal. It's going to be one of the worst things you watch for the next couple of weeks. And yet the media just says nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, the savagery here, it's almost like it's third world. I mean, the guys, you know, one guy jumps on his chest. So he jumps and uses 2 feet to literally jump on the guy's chest. And it's amazing to me how this, now, again, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't have to be the story of the lead story on every newscast or whatever, but just simply to ignore it when you know if it were different in terms of race, it wouldn't be ignored. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So love the stuff about
this happens time and time again. So it's nothing new for us, any of your listeners. So,
well, remember the knockout game. And the knockout game was one, and we had an older Asian man killed in St. Louis here in a knockout game, and I guarantee, I defy you, I dare you to try to find one black victim of the knockout game, which was predominantly at the hands of black people doing it, but find one black victim of the knockout game.
It just didn't happen.
Yeah. This, I'm glad you're on this too. This Kavanaugh thing is interesting, and you have an angle here that I didn't consider, and that this is another half-baked, fraudulent attempt to bring down Kavanaugh with a story that the New York Times now is walking back. They finally updated the story to include the fact that the alleged victim doesn't remember the incident, but you point out that they must be very worried about Ginsburg. How is that playing?
Well, yeah, this is a rehashed story. I started looking at it, and I looked at the victim's name, and I was like, we reported on this back in 2018 when the left was piling on Justice Kavanaugh. We reported on this story, and I don't know if the New York Times, I didn't read their full report, but I know back in the fall when this story first broke, this woman, some guy said that she was flashed when they were doing drinking games with Kavanaugh. And they had interviewed like 3 or 4 people who allegedly were there, and they all said, no, I don't remember this. I don't think it happened. So that doesn't get in the report. So it's already been debunked.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So then what's the
9-10 months old.
Yeah. So what's the Ginsburg angle on this? How does this play into it?
Well, this is really interesting too. We're going to put an update on this report this morning. But the guy who's making the accusations, this Max Steyer, he was a Clinton lawyer. This didn't make any news at all, and he also has donated to Obama for America and the DNC. So of course, none of that is in the report. This guy's a hardcore leftist who's making these accusations. I believe it's coming up now because the left is terrified of the condition that this Ruth Bader Ginsburg is in, who is, bless her heart, she's 85, 89, whatever she's just a very old person with bouts with cancer. And the last few times we saw her, she did not look in the best health. So I believe that they're very worried about this. And Mitch McConnell has already signaled that if something happens to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, he's ready to move to put in a new Supreme Court justice. So I think this is all tied around that. We know how the left plots and is predictable, and I just think this is part of the reason that this debunked story comes out now for round two.
No doubt. I'm glad. I mean, this is unbelievable, and the problem is all the Democrat candidates came out and called for his impeachment just on the basis of one New York Times story that the veracity, and they'll never walk it back. It's based on this book, and these people who wrote the book are going to be debunked eventually as well, I hope. But nonetheless, this is just another one of these high-tech lynchings, as we call them. Yeah. And it's unbelievable.
I think, too, Kavanaugh made a mistake when these people smeared the hell out of him during the proceedings. You need to sue these people, because the only thing the left responds to this day is brute force. Otherwise, they come back and come back and come back, just like they're doing now with this rehashed story. You have to do something to retaliate. If you don't, they're going to continue to come at you. And I believe that's absolutely true, and I wish Kavanaugh would have done something when Avenatti, and he brought out this crazy woman with allegations against him last year. I don't know why Justice Kavanaugh just thinks he can leave this alone and think everybody's going to, be nice to him now, because they're not. They want to destroy everyone on the right. They don't play by the rules. They come out with these smear machines against conservatives, day in and day out. We've seen it with Trump. And this weekend, as Steve Bannon said at this conference during his short speech, he said, this is going to be the worst, vitriolic, nastiest campaign in history coming up. And I agree with him, just by what we've seen in the past 2.5 years of what they've done against Trump and Kavanaugh and others. They're going for the jugular, and I think Republicans need to wake up.
Yeah, they're going to try their hardest not to let 2016 happen again, and our only hope is that once again we're just all a sleeping giant. But I think you're right. At some point, you do have to start fighting back, and because I'll tell you one thing, there better not be any time where these guys are going to you attack somebody at a Trump rally again, like they did in 2016. I hope there's hell to pay for that. I think it's high time we started throwing them and fighting back, and I think that's great. One example too of fighting back is you have a great bit here with Catherine Engelbrecht of True the Vote, and she was on Mike Huckabee's program. Here, I'll play a little bit of it. She's
3 years of being involved in the way that I have been at a grassroots level. I have learned that Americans will stand for the side of truth. They will stand. And
hopefully they will. This is True the Vote. And she applied for tax-exempt status and was summarily harassed by the IRS. And she, too, was fighting back. She won her case against the IRS.
Yeah, and that was just a couple of months ago in June.
Yeah.
This started back in 2012. And they sent the IRS, they sent the FBI, they sent OSHA, they sent all these groups, the alcohol and tobacco folks, ATF, to her house. They checked her gun safe. I mean, this is complete harassment, and Elijah Cummings was behind it. And she did tell me in this short interview we had that she is going to pursue the ethics charges against Elijah Cummings. I hope she does. She's a brave patriot, and the reason they were against her is because True the Vote, what they do is they want ethical, legal elections. They want clean voter rolls. That's what their purpose is. And the left, which should be a bipartisan purpose, we all should agree on that. And the left tried to destroy her instead.
Yeah,
a lot.
No doubt. And the fact that Elijah Cummings actually sent correspondence to Lois Lerner, I mean, that's scandalous. I mean, that is, you talk about impeachable. I mean, that guy ought to be. I mean, I don't know what kind of crime you'd call that. But when you've got people who are elected congressmen, especially in the position of power like him, making those kinds of moves and influencing the IRS, that's scary.
Yeah, and it's what also is scary is that they knew Lois Lerner was there and they knew that she was on their side. So again, they probably have operatives like this throughout government, and they have no shame. There's no repercussion against these people, and it's time that Republicans stand up and fight back and push back with the full force of the law. They sent every government agency against Catherine. It's unbelievable, her story. And I told her at the end of our interview, this should be a book, this should be a movie, because what they did to her, this is just the U.S. government under Obama.
Yeah.
A bunch of talk about street thugs. That's who they are.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, listen, man, great work as always. And even though you had the busiest of weekends, the GatewayPundit.com is chock full of fresh, new info and interviews and all kinds of great stuff. So check it out at thegatewaypundit.com. And Jimmy, again, heartfelt thanks for including me in the festivities over the weekend. Really appreciate it. It was great to see you again, too.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right,
Likewise.
buddy. You take care. Your call Tammy.com real estate listener lines 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Well, we've got some good news. The accident on northbound 55 before Loughborough has cleared, but you do still have a residual delay back to Lindbergh. And construction really pretty much the name of the game out there at this hour. 255 northbound and southbound, that road work has popped up again between Musette Lane to Collinsville. Either way, north and southbound, you have that road work until 9 o'clock this morning. And we've got midday road work coming up too, 9 to 3. You'll see construction on northbound and southbound 270 south of 44. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
Allman here for longtime Common Sense Radio supporter Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. Low premiums and low deductibles on your home, auto, and life, and I have all three of those policies with my good friend Matthew. Also, he's got some great deals for the young driver. You know how expensive it can be to insure them. He's got low premiums and low deductibles, even for your young drivers. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Hey homebuyer, this is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. Let's face it, life is busy. Who has hours to sift through homes on the internet? Leave that to us. We are your personal real estate experts. We can let you know as soon as a house hits the market that would be perfect for you. I've been selling houses for over 23 years, and helping buyers find the perfect home is so exciting. Let us help you move today. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Health insurance premiums making you sick? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I have the answer. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency serving Missouri and Illinois. This is non-Obamacare, and you can enroll anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Why should you have to pay for maternity coverage and pediatric dental care if you don't need it? KDDI-INS.com. KDDI-INS.com or call Joyce at 877-695-0245. 877-695-0245. This is the answer. This is the solution. KDDI-INS.com.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
This morning, everybody. Happy Monday to all of you. Coming up, Nick Schroer. And the revelation of yet another punk Antifa-like Democrat running around on Twitter wishing for the death of Representative Nick Schroer. Of course, this is a guy who lost an election in 2018, and of course that's what happens when the left loses. They get angry because they're a bunch of punks. And we've been dealing with that for 3 years now, and Nick is doing it. This guy's a Democratic committeeman, and so it's pretty interesting. So we'll talk with him about that. Meanwhile, Phil reports to me that they arrested a lot of those guys in that video, the blacks beating up the white guy in Minnesota, and they've arrested most of them, I think. 16 of them. Wow, that's pretty good work for those guys. What's one of the guys' names? Atumbo Boobo Dubo?
Yeah, Lumbubo or something.
Yeah, great.
Lumbogo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good old Minneapolis. And so we'll see how the outcome of that, but we'll see what their status is here in the US. Let's put it that way. Meanwhile, did you see this? You know, they Face the Nation. Do you watch Face the Nation? Oh my God. Face the music. Yeah, face my pulled down pants. You know what I mean? Good evening and welcome to Face My Pulled Down Pants, everybody. And it would be the other way. It wouldn't be, frontal, it'd be backwards. That's what my Sunday show would be. Listen to this they're talking to Ilhan Omar.
It's been tough for you here in Washington to...
Yeah, it's been tough for you, sure.
...change your rhetoric, to be less of an activist and try to be a legislator. That sometimes the language you use has gotten in your own way.
I certainly don't think that. When we were celebrating a few nights ago, I talked about how some people would say, Ilhan, you should speak a certain way. Ilhan, you should do something a certain way. And I think that's contradictory, really, to the purpose of my existence in this space.
This poor chick on Face the Nation scared to death of Ilhan Omar, you can tell. So has it been tough for you? Because sometimes your language kind of gets in, it's like, yeah, you're an anti-Semite. That's not language getting in your way. Sometimes being an anti-Semite, doesn't that get in the way of you being a legislator? It's like, golly, kid glove treatment right there on old Ilhan. All right, your phone calls welcome, 844-855-1380, the call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Energy Secretary Rick Perry says it was Iran that was behind the attack on a key oil production facility in Saudi Arabia, something that Tehran denies. President Trump, meanwhile, saying the U.S. is locked and loaded as it prepares to respond to the attack, but the White House says that does not necessarily mean the U.S. will take military action. They're making a lot of noise on the picket lines. 49,000 UAW workers striking General Motors. That dispute focusing on pay, benefits, and job security. More talks in the contract dispute scheduled for later this morning. Purdue Pharma has filed for bankruptcy protection, part of a move to settle some 2,600 lawsuits stemming from the opioid crisis. Wall Street, the opening bell has just sounded. The Dow down 107 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Not too bad of a morning out there. We did have an accident on 55 northbound before Loughborough. The crash is cleared. The delay, not quite. You might still back up a little bit to Lindbergh. You'll see some brake lights there. Otherwise, it's construction. The exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street, that's closed with roadwork until the end of the month. And the exit ramp from eastbound 70 to Madison remains closed with construction also until the end of the month. The on-ramp from Watson to westbound 44, that one closed with roadwork until the end of next month. And that's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny, hot and humid today. Winds northwest 6 to 12 miles per hour and a high of 92. Mainly clear, warm and humid this evening, low 70. For Tuesday, partly sunny, hot and humid and a high of 91. Partly sunny for Wednesday, hot, high 92. I'm Maddie Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
All right, friends, Banner Construction. I can't tell you how proud I am to be associated with these guys. These guys who have really just become world famous, it seems, because I'll tell you one thing, they've attracted the attention of two great companies in this country. You're talking about the James Hardie Fiber Cement Company and the Pella Window Company. So as you are trying to figure out ways you're going to batten down the hatches come wintertime so you could save your family money on your heating bills, and so also you can keep them warm, these two high-quality items have great insulation factors when it comes to the Pella windows, which are great replacement windows. You might have had a winter last year where you felt or heard the whistle coming through your decrepit windows. Well, the Pella window will lock that down, seal it down. You'll get great prices on it. And Banner is the preferred installer and seller of the Pella window here in town. Same with the James Hardie Fiber Cement siding. That not only looks wonderful and beautiful and is fantastic, and you can get the job done before winter comes, it also has insulation qualities as well, save you on your heating and your cooling bills. So as you're preparing for winter, make sure that Banner is part of that preparation, and Pella and James Hardie Fiber Cement siding are as well. So check it out, 569-1050, bannerconstruction.com.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK.
You love that smell. That new truck smell. All cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Or online at customcarandtruck.com.
Hi, this is Jess with Razorback Armory in Des Peres. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Answer listeners for their continued patronage and support over the last 4 years. I know there are many choices out there for you to spend your hard-earned dollars. I definitely appreciate you choosing to shop local with Razorback Armory as your go-to shop for firearms, silencers, ammo, and accessories. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres and online at RazorbackArmory.com.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
This is an old true story. This is called I Must Have Did Somebody Wrong. My baby caught that train and gone. The bellman's told. My baby caught that train and gone. It's all my fault. I must have did somebody wrong. Everything that happens.
Love this song, man. Pretty good guitar playing on part of Dwayne Allman, isn't it?
Yeah, he's pretty good, man.
Yeah, man.
I feel it when he plays, you know what I mean? Feel the notes, you know?
Damn peach truck.
Yeah.
Damn, man. Motorcycle run over by a peach truck.
That's true, right?
Yep, that's why they're naming one of their names of their albums called Eat a Peach.
Yep, I heard that.
Because the old peach truck ran him over.
Who played the harmonica in there? Is that Dwayne?
I don't know.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah. Greg Allman played some harmonica.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, was it Greg? Yeah, probably Greg.
I don't know. There's other guys.
So talented.
Oh, I know. They were just...
We had a discussion a couple weeks ago. We voted them the most masculine rock band of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
Well, they had two drummers.
All right.
They had Butch Trucks and J-Mo, man. Yep. Two drummers. I've seen them in concert a couple times. You go and see them in concert, man. They got two drum sets up there.
What's the earliest concert you went to? What's the first year you saw them?
Man, I don't know.
Like 70s?
I saw them at the Muni Opera.
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding you. They played, and that was like in 79 or 80.
Wow.
They played at the Muni Opera.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, man. They are really amazing. And I have every single one of their albums too. Yeah. Good morning this morning. Nick Shore, gosh darn it, how you doing, brother? By the way, congratulations on being named the legislator of the year by our law enforcement guys. What's the official title of that recognition again, buddy?
It's the St. Louis Police Officers Association Legislator of the Year. So the guys that Kim Gardner keeps throwing under the bus, that guys like you and I and others in Missouri House and on radio are standing up for, those are the ones that honored me as being one of the loudmouths down in Jefferson City, standing up for them. So, back in our Men and Women of Blues, a top priority of mine. You and I both know that from my time on your show. I think you were my first radio interview, so I'm happy to be back on with you guys this morning. But, it's something that I'm not going to stray away from. And I've got a list that I'm compiling right now in the interim that I'm going to be working on next year to help our Men and Women in Blue in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think with some of this is that maybe the reason why this is your first radio interview is because it seems anything related to any positivity regarding our law enforcement is left on the cutting room floor. You shall not promote good things regarding the police or lawmakers who are helping them. So maybe that's one of the reasons why, but it's too bad. But nonetheless, good work, buddy.
Yeah, it's a true honor of mine. I got another honor from the Missouri Chamber of Commerce that week. But, it's something that all these honors aside, I'm just doing what I should be doing, that you and I have talked about many occasions, is that we have legislators on both sides of the aisle that are looking out for their party or whoever's funding their campaign. And we don't have enough people that are listening to the very men and women that are electing them, getting the grassroots back in line, going door to door, giving people your cell phone, saying, look, if you see a problem out there, let me know, and I'm here to fix it. I'm here for your voice, echoing it in the halls of Capitol down in Jefferson City. So, it's a true honor, but it's what I signed up for, and I look forward to doing more of that in 2020.
Right on, brother. I love it. All right, so on to this joker, Joe Poor. And by the way, and if you look at some of I'm not going to put them up. I was going to put them up, but the language he's using in the second one is too much. And for the Facebook and the 1380-1053 crew. But the bottom line is, at one point, Joe Poor, it's 12:29, so I can just imagine what he's up to in the morning, and he tweets out that he would love to see you run over by a truck. First of all, a semi. Yeah. Tell me what's going on here.
Well, it all started just as many things do. Over the weekend, when I see something like Beto O'Rourke, Robert O'Rourke, commenting about coming in, storming in houses, and taking away guns, after months prior he had indicated that he's not coming after our guns and we can keep our guns. That's where this all started, and somebody who I rebutted after indicating Beto comes on TV and says, well, you can't own a grenade launcher, you can't own a tank, and I said, well, actually you can. So you're either ignorant of the law or just unintelligent. You pick. That's when somebody comes out and I guess it was trying to wish me well, saying that they wish that I'm quote unquote laid. And this knucklehead at, like you said, 12:30 in the morning responds that he wishes I'm laid out by a semi truck going 80 miles an hour. So looking into who this joker is, it's an elected Democrat committee man. Members of the Democrat Party elect him in this position to help carve policy and determine what the best course of action is for the people of Missouri according to Democrat principles. This guy's the one doubling down after I pointed out that that's, fairly disgusting, wishing death upon not only an elected official, but just anybody. But again, that's the party. We are the party of pro-life, the Republicans in the state of Missouri and across America. And these are people that have kicked out Democrats for being pro-life. So it's no surprise to me that the same party that wished ill will upon President Trump back in 2018, I think there was a senator who's now a state representative who wished that our president was dead. Now we've got an elected Democrat committee man wishing that Republican elected officials that he does not agree with are dead, and then he doubles down on his wishing of ill will upon me. So, this is the world that we live in, where the former party that was pro-life, that enacted the Democrat majority in the 1980s, enacted in our statutes that life begins at conception. Now they've gone so far to the left that they're kicking out people that are pro-life in their own party, and we welcome them with open arms. But it's fairly disgusting that people have that mindset that that's okay, that they're wishing ill will and death upon others, which, I pray for the gentleman that maybe he finds some wisdom. Maybe he can get off his butt and contribute to society rather than trolling people on Twitter.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what he's up to, and it's interesting too, because the other thing is he says the tolerant left is down the hall. We're the fascist blankheads can go F yourselves left. So he's basically speaks like he's some kind of Antifa punk, and that's where he thinks he's gonna where he thinks he's gonna rep the Democratic Party. Where was this district that he lost his rear end in?
So he got his butt handed to him by Senator Sandy Crawford down south. I think she replaced Mike Parson when Parson became lieutenant governor, and a gentleman by the name of Jeff Knight took her spot in the House. Well, after he got his butt handed to him in the Senate district, word on the street is from the very own Democrat committee, word on the street that's been leaked out is that they're trying to put him up, this loudmouth punk, in Jeff Knight's seat. So he's going to be 0 for 2 if he chooses that route. But yeah, it's disgusting that the party that claims that they are tolerant, accepting, loving. Well, they are until they disagree with you, and then they wish death upon you.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that if somebody like that who cannot agree with you and they wish death upon you, they're trying to run for office. This is showing you what the face of the new Democrat Party, not only in the state of Missouri, but like you said, with Antifa, this is the new Democrat Party across America. From Robert O'Rourke, who, God, I don't even know if he's ever had a job. dancing around on videos in a onesie and a sheep costume, and now coming on air saying, yes, we are going to come over and take your guns. Well, good luck with that, bud. We've got tyrants, these wannabe tyrants from the very top of the card running for president in 2020 all the way to districts like this joker, Joe Poore. And it's, sickening. And I guarantee you from the top card, Trump's going to get reelected. Our supermajority is going to remain in the state of Missouri, and it's because of this. And I pride our party on having a wide array of different people. We've got some people that love right to work. We have some people that say right to work's not for their district. We have some people that, are very open on different economic ideas, whereas the other party, they're getting their marching orders from the top, and they're not listening to the grassroots. They're not going door to door to listen to what the real men and women of Missouri want, and I think it's going to show in 2020.
Yeah. It's interesting, too. His Twitter handle is Joe4Mo28, which is an indication the guy still hasn't acknowledged that he got his ass handed to him in the race. And it's kind of weird that, 2 years or a year and a half after your humiliating defeat, I mean, she beat him 80-20.
It wasn't even close.
And how he still hangs on to his Twitter handle that identifies him as such a loser is beyond me. But that's just that's the way these Democrats are. Now these guys all call themselves, I guess, river rat Democrats. What are they? Some kind of what are they some kind of rural Democrat types? They act like that's they're the float trip Democrats.
Well, they're trying to put perfume on a turd, and the people of Missouri can see straight through it. If they wanted to, if this gentleman wants to figure out what's best for Missouri and build a new campaign, I'll invite him out here to speak with Rick Pogue at this gorgeous building and sit in front of the Arrowhead Building Supply for a grand opening this week, and he can learn about building his dream, making his dreams come true. And I believe you're going to be down here on that grand opening on the 17th.
Okay, it's the 17th. Okay, good. Is it tomorrow?
Wait. No, I'm sorry. It's the 19th.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I got my dates mixed up.
See,
it's going to be the
Thursday.
19th.
Yeah.
All day, there's going to be stuff for kids. And, of course, I am the general counsel for Arrowhead Building Supply, and they're sponsor of the show. And Discovery Design, who's back here, they're sponsor of the show. But, man, this place is gorgeous. So, I'm going to look forward to watching this grow and watching people like Joe Poore and other socialist extremists that are going to, quote-unquote, resist our president, the booming economy. I mean, if they want to build their dreams, they can come here to Arrowhead Building Supply.
Yeah, river rat Democrats.
I don't even know what that means.
That's because they're trying to be tough guys, and they're just basically, I've seen his arms. But no, here's the deal. But I'm glad because I know that people were told that some people were saying you shouldn't pick up on this and you shouldn't actually publicly out this guy, but I'm glad you did. I think we are requiring, as even Jim Hoff pointed out, we are requiring a more muscular response to these people who think that they can intimidate us, put their little stupid handkerchiefs over their faces, do whatever they want to do, and hide on Twitter. But there needs to be a resistance to that and a muscular response to it, as opposed to just, don't rock the boat, don't do this, don't do that. So I'm glad that, and of course it doesn't surprise me that you would, but I'm glad that you stepped out and said something about this. It's good.
Well, with our party, it's, let's get back to business and, let's leave these losers aside. I understand that, and I agree with that to a certain extent. But you know me, and you know that I was the one back in, even when I was in grade school, when all of these allegations, whatever came out, I said, we need some elected officials with the cojones to stand up and say what's right. Even though it might not be the popular opinion. Standing up for our constitutional rights and principles. It might not be the popular opinion on that day. But we ended up getting President Trump. We ended up getting, back then, somebody who'd never ran before, Eric Greitens. We've got people that are actually standing up, and elected officials all across this state since that time that are done with the BS. I know I've got a good friend in Dottie Bailey and Jim Murphy and others that, on the House floor, they will stand up and call somebody out if they are wrong. And just like with the Post-Dispatch. The Post-Dispatch got away with posting the same lie, well, many lies, but on this topic alone, on House Bill 126, the heartbeat bill, which I was a sponsor of, saying that women were going to be prosecuted after this bill goes into law. And the Prosecutors Association, the head prosecutor, that is the prosecutor in St. Charles County, he contacted them and said, look, this is not going to be the case whatsoever. We are the prosecutors. This is not going to happen. The language in the bill says it's not going to happen. And despite that fact, you've got people like the Post-Dispatch getting away with it. And I'll tell you what, if you didn't have representatives or people like Jamie Allman and Nick Schroer standing up and speaking up for what is right, who are the American people, who are Missourians going to believe if they're only hearing one side of the story?
Yeah. And Nick Schroer, I'm seeing some rumblings about the Republican Party. I keep seeing in the Post the Republican Party is set to impose some gun restrictions in Missouri. Is that true?
I don't think that's true whatsoever. I've been on the General Laws Committee for 3 years now. We've dealt with these red flag laws. Being an attorney who's dealt with those issues with orders of protection, I tried to amend the bill to something that all of the Second Amendment supporters would be okay with, and they didn't want to move forward on it. It wasn't extreme enough for them. Even though we might have hearings on it, because we've had hearings on Republican bills, Democrat bills, the ones that make sense move, but nobody has come forward to me with a Second Amendment bill restricting our Second Amendment rights that is going to pass in the Missouri House or the Missouri Senate. Keep in mind, we've got a conservative caucus in the House. We've got a conservative caucus in the Senate. This bill will go through a committee that I sit on, and it will not come out if it is going to restrict our Second Amendment rights. I can tell you that right now. Now, I myself have spoken with the governor's office, Governor Parsons' office, and leadership in the House and Senate about something I tried to do. I reached across the aisle with a former friend of yours who I know was on your show when he first, got up and running, Bruce Franks.
Yeah.
We were trying to form a committee back in 2017 when we were just getting off the freshman tour bus. We wanted to form a committee to focus on crime and violence, not gun violence, but crime and violence in our inner cities. Almost got that to happen. For some reason, I don't understand why we didn't. I think it happened to do with during the Greitens investigation. We kind of got put on the back burner. But I have a laundry list. I've spoken with law enforcement. I've spoken with people who have been in and out of the criminal justice system, people who live in the city of St. Louis. And I have a list of ideas that they have given me that we can enact if we have a committee, something like whether it's, all House members, Republicans and Democrats, or, task force with the Senate. But I look forward to working with them, and they seem very open to a lot of these good, solid ideas, not focused on gun control, but focused on many different arenas where we need to reform it in order to change the whole mindset. And going back to Joe Poor, why is an American thinking it's right to wish death upon somebody else?
Yeah.
It's insane. But, I'm confident that the Republicans in the House and the Republicans in the Senate are not going to pass something which is going to be very restrictive or stepping upon our Second Amendment rights.
Right on. Okay, well, cool. I'm glad, and thanks a lot, and good job sending Joe Poor back into the woods where he belongs.
He just needs some thoughts and prayers because that gentleman is very disturbed.
I'd say. Well, good for you, brother, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Yeah, I'll see you then, and y'all have a good one. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, too, brother. That is State Representative Nick Schroer, who also happens to be the general counsel for my friends over at Arrowhead Building Supply. It's Common Sense Radio, 844-855-1380 is the call, Tammy.com, real estate listener line.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. Van. Join me on Need, Want, Love, Wellness. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about your health. Things to get you from awareness into action and how to change your life in a way that's never been discussed before so that you can then figure out exactly what's going on for you to best suit your lifestyle to get you back to doing the things that you need to do, want to do, and love to do within your life. So join me, Dr. Van, on Need, Want, Love, Wellness. Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hi, it's Rick Dees here. And listen, no matter how often you wash your car, Zips Car Wash has a deal for you. Check out zipscarwash.com and save up to 70% on a single wash, or you can get unlimited monthly wash memberships for one low price. I feel good. I went to Zips.
KXFN St. Louis, K287BY St. Louis.
I'm Gia Valenti, and I personally invite you to tune into my show, Moxie Minutes with Gia, Saturday mornings at 10 to learn about all things parenting. Moxie Minutes with Gia is the closest you'll get to that manual that doesn't come with your kids. Parenting experts will join me to discuss sleep habits, homework, mental health, and so much more. Submit your questions on Facebook at the Learn with Moxie Facebook page and tune in to Moxie Minutes with Gia every Saturday morning at 10. Brought to you by Gold Shield Security, real police officers who are there when you need them.
Arrowhead Building Supply is the area's only Provia siding supplier. Provia Siding, formerly Heartland Siding, has a long-standing reputation as a St. Louis favorite for its quality, durability, and color selection. Not to mention those famous heart-shaped weep holes contractors know and love. Recognized with the #1 recommended Cedar Max insulated siding and #1 Best Buy Hartech siding, Provia is proud to provide you with a better alternative to consumer-grade exterior cladding. Visit your local Arrowhead showroom to see the full line of Provia siding products today. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Saturday mornings at 9 are now all about the house. Do you ever wish you could get an hour with a general contractor or building inspector to ask all your home maintenance questions? Well, About the House with Troy Galloway is exactly that. Every Saturday morning at 9, Troy Galloway will spend an hour giving home advice and taking your questions. Submit your questions now on Facebook at the Galloway Building Services Facebook page. And tune in to About the House with Troy Galloway every Saturday morning at 9 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Are you unhappily single? Does your marriage or relationship feel hard? I get a lot of emails from readers who are struggling in their marriage or relationship. Unfortunately, the help an individual or couple needs can rarely be answered in a series of emails. For this reason, I offer relationship coaching for those who are struggling to find love and for couples whose marriage or relationship feels stuck in a negative cycle. Go to SuzanneBanker.com and sign up today for a coaching session with me and learn the tools you need to find love and sustain it. It's so much easier than you think. That's SuzanneBanker.com.
In the midst of all the uncertainty around us, we all need a refuge, a place to call home. Come home to St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
I've been trying to lose weight for 12 years now, but nothing ever works long term. Low carb, low fat, keto, fasting. I need help.
Hello, this is Dr. Jim Hankinson of Back to Wellness Chiropractic. I am the leading doctor when it comes to weight loss management in St. Louis. We offer a proven program that will help you lose weight and make healthy lifestyle changes. To learn more, go to stlbackdoc.com. That's stlbackdoc.com. And don't forget to listen to my weekly wellness show every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. right here on The Answer.
Hey neighbor, this is Tammy with Tammy Mitchell Hines & Company Real Estate. We sell a house every 30 hours. We list it, we sell it, and you get to move on to your next adventure. Let's face it, life is busy, and who has hours to wait for strangers to show up so you can show them your home? Not to mention the tons of legal paperwork to sift through. I have been selling homes for over 23 years. Let us help you move today. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
Larry Elder, tonight at 5. Now, back to Allman in the morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
You know, I used to sing this song with the Smash Band. I'm not kidding you. One Way Out. The Smash Band did a good job doing with this, too. It's a long time ago, though. We go down to the foot went back in the Rams in their pregame, and the Smash Band always did some of the pregame. And he'd always make me get up there and do this song.
You singing lead?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Might be your man. I don't know. I did the whole damn thing, man.
I bet you'd kill it, man.
Yeah. And to stay with it, you know. I always forget like which lyric went where, but you know. 80 bucks. One way out, baby. I do the whole damn thing. It's one of my favorite songs too, so. Well, it's a good vocal song because there's all kinds of groovy things you get to do, you know. You know, because there's a man down there, that part of it. You did the whole thing. Down there. Might be old man. I don't know. And then you just keep going, baby. It's good. I don't know. I'm not going to sing it for you now, but Smash Band did a good job with this song. I did a couple Bruce songs with him too. I did Thunder Road one time too. Yo, I'll do that for you someday. I sang Thunder Road without any music. 844-855-1380, the calltammy.com real estate listener line.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump responding to the weekend attack on a key Saudi oil production facility says even though the U.S. no longer needs Mideast oil and gas, we will help our allies. The U.S. blames Iran for the attack that cut Saudi oil exports in half, sent crude prices higher. Still, Energy Secretary Rick Perry expects the market will stabilize before long.
Despite Iran's malign efforts, we are very confident that the market is resilient and will respond positively.
The president describes the U.S. as locked and loaded as it prepares to respond to the attack, but the White House says that does not necessarily mean military action. The president has authorized the release of crude from America's strategic reserves, if need be.
That's a good first step that the White House is taking, and that should help limit the amount of the rally in the price of oil as a result.
Patrick DeHaan with GasBuddy.com. The United Auto Workers Union calling its first walkout since 2007.
With both sides still far apart on several major issues, roughly 49,000 workers at General Motors plants in the U.S. went on strike just before midnight Sunday. Picket lines went up as negotiators took a break from the bargaining table. They will return and resume talks at 10 a.m. on Monday morning in Detroit.
That's correspondent Ron DeRockstrip. The company that makes the popular painkiller OxyContin has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Purdue Pharma facing a slew of lawsuits and potential liability running into the billions of dollars. Stocks in the red on Wall Street right now. The Dow down about 89 points. The S&P is off 7. The NASDAQ Composite Index currently down 22 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Road work, pretty much the biggest issue right now. It's been a fairly quiet morning. Not a lot of problems out there, but plenty of problems as it goes along to road work. Your exit ramp from eastbound 6440 to 14th Street closed with construction until the end of the month. And the exit from eastbound 70 to Madison, that remains closed with road work until the end of the month. You've got the on-ramp from Watson to westbound 44 closed with construction until the end of next month. And the on-ramp from Vandeventer to westbound 44 closed till the end of the year. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny, hot, and humid today. Winds northwest 6 to 12 miles per hour and a high of 92. Mainly clear, warm, and humid this evening, low 70. For Tuesday, partly sunny, hot, and humid and a high of 91. Partly sunny for Wednesday, hot, high 92. I'm Maddie Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Dennis Prager sees nothing but drama from the left.
The hysteria, everything on the left is hysteria because they're children. If you don't understand that there's an infantilization of the human being that is endemic to leftism, it's an immaturity. Can you name a single subject they talk about that does not involve their being hysterical?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekday mornings at 11 on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer. News, opinion, insight.
Interested in purchasing a silencer? Stop by and talk to the pros at Razorback Armory, the region's only full-service, silver-level silencer shop dealer. With our state-of-the-art all-digital process, we will be with you every step of the way. For your account setup, fingerprints, photographs, and federal forms. All are done promptly and professionally in shop while you wait. Stop in and check out our vast selection of silencers and other NFA items at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres, and online at RazorbackArmory.com.
You've had your new truck for a few weeks now. Looks good. But now you're realizing running boards would make your ride look great. Since you're gonna buy a boat, you need a hitch. Oh, and what about a floor liner? Let's keep it looking nice. Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois. Selling top brands for trucks like Buck Shields, step bars, and bed liners for over 20 years. See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois, or online at CustomCarAndTruck.com. Now with free installation and a lifetime warranty on vent visors and bug shields.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith, the #1 provider of oral sleep appliances in the United States. Learn more at cpapsucks.com.
Common Sense Radio with Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Give me land, lots of land, and the starry skies above. Don't fence me in. Let me ride through the wide open country that I love. Don't fence me in. Let me be by myself in the evening breeze. Listen to the murmur of the cottonwood trees. Send me off forever, but I ask you please. Don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. Just turn me loose. Let me straddle my own saddle underneath the western skies. On my cayuse, let me wander over yonder till I see the mountains rise.
So
I want to ride through the
we're talking about this whole river rat Democrat thing. Can you imagine being part of that group? Float trip Democrats. Yeah, let's go down on the Huzzah. Let's go on a float trip. It's like, oh, you kidding me? And part of my, I know a lot of you go on float trips, so don't get all, bent out of shape about me talking about it. I don't think you're a Hoosier if you go on float trips or whatever. I had my own experience with float trips, and I'd stop going on them. But, come on. I'm not spending some Saturday going down the Current River in a canoe. It's not happening. Let's tie the canoes together. Yeah, good idea. The reason why, oftentimes when I make fun of something to that degree, you can trace it back to some incident, that I had. And so I have a unbalanced view of it because of my own problems. You know what I mean? So when I'm making fun of float trips, I'm really just indicating, as most people do when they make fun of things and harassing, they actually have an injury back in the day. Something harmed them back in the day. Like the people who made this show Preacher. Where God is such a terrible person. Those people, something happened to them where they weren't satisfied. Like they might have been, they were probably in the people in the stands when the Cubs were fighting for their lives to win the championship, praying to God that the Cubs would bring them a championship, and then he didn't, and so now they hate God. So. But anyway, my thing about float trips is I was on one, but one time I was in a canoe, and that's these big ass, metal canoes, and I'll be damned if that thing didn't just, see, that's a nightmare for me, that whole image right there. I mean, come on. That's not fun. I'm not, that green ass water and beer and people in their stupid rock socks or whatever those things are called. The sandy, those, what are those things called? Those little shoes you wear? Crocs. Huh?
Not Crocs.
No, but something like that. They're like these diving socks or something, but you know what I mean. They're like these things, It's like, oh, please. And so we were in this canoe, and I'll be damned if that canoe didn't go. I hit a tree, and that damn thing, the canoe went right under the tree. The current was so tough that the canoe, I had to get out of the canoe. I was clinging to the tree branch while my canoe went underneath the water. So that's my injury. That's why I now make fun of float trips, because I'm never going on one again. I'm just the whole idea is just a nightmare to me. But it's probably traced back to that one incident, which was my fault. You know. Yeah, man, that canoe, we were going right to that. We were like tooling right towards that tree branch, sticking out in the water. And I'm telling you what, I've never. I mean, I couldn't even imagine a canoe could do that. But the current put that thing underneath the water. I mean, because you run into the tree branch and then the canoe runs into it, but if it gets under it, the current keeps taking it like underwater. Tie my shoelaces to the canoe, that kind of thing. So that would have been a good idea to keep from having harm's way. Anyway, that's what happened to me. So that's probably why I kind of have that weirdness about it. Why I have that problem with it.
Anthony on Facebook says float trip in a tube with beer in another tube.
I have to tell you though, people who don't take float trips too seriously, I think probably have the most fun, and that inner tube thing is the way to go. And some people, like for instance, I guarantee you, me making fun of a float trip will probably there are a couple of people who will hate me for it because they love float trips so much. Calm down. It's not a big deal, okay? I'm not making fun of you. I don't think you're a Hoosier. I'm just, But if you're a River Rat Democrat, oh, Lord. Your T-shirt, River Rat Democrat. That's right. That's who I am. So I got this interesting text after Mark Kaysen was on. He's going to be on again at 9:30 because I want you to hear what he had to say. But remember he was talking about Canada. Well, somebody texted me a study of Canada and poverty, and it turned out that that Canada has the higher concentration of urban poor than the United States does. Did you know that? No. This study, and then I'll call up again. The highest concentration of urban poor. Hold on, let me see. Okay, this is a study that was done. It was a study called "The Nature of Concentrated Urban Poverty in Canada and the U.S." And Canada has proportionally more people in concentrated urban poverty than the United States. Concentrated urban poverty in Canada means not only poverty, but also high levels of a host of social dislocations. So that's very interesting how that happens because so I would assume that the reason why there wasn't a lot of violent crime in Canada compared to the U.S. was because there weren't as many inner cities. But it turns out that Canada has more poor people concentrated than the U.S. does. So then if that's the case, what's the difference? Wouldn't that be interesting? So it also debunks to a certain degree this idea that just because people are poor, that's going to make them violent. When actually that doesn't seem to be the case. If you look at the concentrated poor in Canada, there must be some other factors that are part of all that. Don't you think? Doesn't that lead you to deduce that poverty may not be the only factor in violence? Because, again, Canada, if you want to call them inner cities, concentrated poor, I don't know what that's an inner city. Canada has more concentrated poor people than the U.S. does, but less violence. So what's the difference? I don't know. I have no idea. Look, it's Father Tom calling in about float trips, for crying out loud. Father Tom, what's up, buddy?
No, hey, I'm driving, so there might be a lot of road noise with the Jeep, so my apologies.
Yeah, I know.
But, yeah, you know. Hey, but I want to tell you what the tie-in is to violence. With that last bit you were talking about Canada. If they had facial hair and went on float trips and then had to listen to vacation on Mondays, it'd probably be very violent. Now, I was just called to give you grief about my family went on all kinds of float trips growing up. I can understand exactly what you're talking about. I hate canoes, but float trips on rafts and inner tubes are a lot of fun. But I just thought it was funny. I was driving, listening. Said, "Oh, don't get your underwear off, Gary. Come on now, just talk about float trips."
I know, because that's the thing. Because float tripping, either you really love it or you really hate it. I mean, there's nobody who's kind of like agnostic about float trips. You either really dig it, that's all you do, or not.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't do much anymore. There's a lot of liability factors now. The Archdiocese would rather have us not do float trips,
right?
Like youth float trips or even float trips on our own. And I was chuckling at your use of the word Hoosier. That was one of my mother's favorite words. You boys, don't you boys be Hoosiers. I heard that so many times growing up.
Yeah, I mean, that was the worst thing you could be called, is a Hoosier back in the day. I mean, you
Well, did you ever do research on the origin of it? You know the origin of it? In St. Louis?
In St. Louis, no.
It was, it had to go back to some strike, I think, in the 20s or 30s with Carter Carburetor, and they brought in scabs from Indiana.
Oh.
And then that became a pejorative term throughout all of St. Louis. So they brought in these Hoosiers to take our jobs.
Wow, I had no idea. That really is interesting. And good old Carter Carburetor, man. Wow.
Yeah.
It's too bad, that. Well, between Carter Carburetor and the Camaro plant, man, I wish we had a couple of those still up in North St. Louis, because those were saviors for that area up there. Yeah.
Yes, they were. But yeah, I grew up with the word Hoosier all my life. When we moved up to Ellsbury from Florissant, we moved up to Ellsbury in 71. One of my mom's good friends told her, said, "It's really a shame Tommy's going to Ellsbury so early. He can't help but turn out to be a Hoosier."
I love it, man. And the whole youth group thing's interesting. I will tell you, I got the drunkest I've ever gotten in my life on a youth group event for church.
Yeah, I cannot speak to that.
And you know what? I was 13. So.
Wow.
I know. I at age 55, I finally was able to have a drink of whiskey for the first time since I was 13 years old, because that's what we did. We got into mom and dad's bourbon and drank it by the glassful, and I wound up having to call my mother to come pick me up.
Yeah, it's funny. Those things early on in life that we try and get poisoned by, our body has an aversion to for decades.
Yeah. Now I love it, but yeah, I for that long I didn't go near any brown liquid at all of alcohol nature. No way. All right, buddy.
I still don't trust rum. All right, you take care, buddy.
I love it. Thank you, Father Tom. Yeah, I still don't trust rum. Father Tom says, I still don't trust rum. I like to put like a meme up. I like to get Father Tom's picture with his collar on, and then have the little, and just have the lines of, I still don't trust rum. Be awesome. Yeah, the Carter carburetor. Now, you remember, like, they don't really have carburetors anymore, so that's why Carter carburetor kind of went down the slopes, because you don't really you have a carburetor, but it's not really the kind of carburetor we used to have. I used to have a carburetor in my 71 Impala, and we'd buy that spray. Hell yeah, man. You'd spray that stuff in the top of the carburetor. Hell yeah. The carburetor liked that. It liked to drink that spray, whatever that was. What was that?
Jet fuel. I don't know. What the kerosene. I don't know. I've seen somebody do it. It was, older guys than me that know about that stuff, because we never had to do that in any of the cars I ever had. But the older cars like that, I know you could start them from a dead stop.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. We used to take lighters and spray it. Come on, man. I know, how stupid was that? But but the carburetor stuff that you spray had that little red straw in it. You know, the little red straw you could put in the top of the spray, right? So it would spray directly into it. Well, then we got the wise idea to take a lighter and spray it towards the lighter, like a blowtorch, without any concept of how that could possibly be a dangerous thing. You know,
we used to do it with hairspray.
Oh, hairspray, yeah. that was good. Yeah. The problem with that is that it smelled so badly.
Yeah, right.
That I mean, probably not any better than whatever that gasoline was or whatever it was we were spraying. But man, that was crazy. But the carburetor was a good thing back in the day.
Don't try this at home, kids.
No, please, kids, do not try it at home. The calltammy.com real estate listener line is 844-855-1380. It's Common Sense Radio.
More Allman in the Morning coming up on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Allman here for a longtime Common Sense Radio supporter, Matthew Mitchell, the Matthew Mitchell Allstate Agency, 855-QUOTE-ME. Low premiums and low deductibles on your home, auto, and life, and I have all three of those policies with my good friend Matthew. Also, he's got some great deals for the young driver. You know how expensive it can be to insure them. He's got low premiums and low deductibles, even for your young drivers. 855-QUOTE-ME, 855-QUOTE-ME.
Hi, this is Robert Very of 4 Home Remodeling. It's your turn this year to host your family for Thanksgiving. You can't wait to see your Aunt Jane and Uncle Bob. Mom and Dad are coming too, but you still haven't started that kitchen remodel you've talked about for years. Well, guess what? There's still time. Call me, Robert Very of 4 Home Remodeling. We specialize in kitchens and baths, but more importantly, we specialize in you. Call me on my personal number, 314-477-6476. That's 477-6476.
Health insurance premiums making you sick? Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I have the answer. Dryden Camus Insurance Agency serving Missouri and Illinois. This is non-Obamacare, and you can enroll anytime. You don't have to wait for open enrollment. Why should you have to pay for maternity coverage and pediatric dental care if you don't need it? KDDI-INS.com. KDDI-INS.com or call Joyce at 877-695-0245. 877-695-0245. This is the answer. This is the solution. KDDI-INS.com.
Hi, this is Scott Ferguson, the Director of Outreach at St. Matthew. There's something exciting happening at St. Matt's, and I'd like to invite you to experience it. We have a service at 9 a.m. with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra, and our contemporary service at 11 a.m. with our praise band. We can't wait to see you there. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
If you want to be successful in business, surround yourself with good people. If you want to be a successful contractor, then you've got to team up with the right supplier. Rick Pogue here. Arrowhead Building Supply understands the minute your day starts, time is money. With our exclusive 315 service platform, we offer 3-hour delivery to your job site or 15-minute pickup on anything in stock, be it siding, roofing, decks, windows, doors, gutters, or even stone. By the way, you will talk to a real person when you call Arrowhead. No voicemail. Call or stop by the location near you and let us help you grow your business today. ArrowheadBuildingSupply.com.
Hey, Michael's Flooring Outlet is back supporting Allman in the Morning. Love this guy and love what they do for you. 4 locations throughout the St. Louis area. Check it out at michaelsflooringoutlet.com. The best installers you're going to find anywhere. The highest quality flooring products you're going to find anywhere. And if you want to test it out, go to Google and just Google Michael's Flooring Outlet reviews. And you're going to see top-notch 5-star ratings almost all across the board. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Hey, don't just listen to Allman in the Morning. See the show at theanswerstl.com. Now, more Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Welcome back. The calltammy.com real estate listener lines 844-855-1380 line, my friends. So let me tell you something else, though. I just got this interesting little text from Nick Schroer, who we just had on about this little punk Joe Poore, the river rat Democrat who got his butt kicked in 2018 by a Republican. She beat him 80-20. That's how much they love river rats in that district. River rat Democrats. Sure, there are some good old-fashioned conservative river rats, but the river rat Democrats aren't really appealing in that area. So this Joe Poore guy talks about violence against Nick Schroer, running him over with a truck and doing all that kind of stuff. And here's what happens when you're this punk like Joe Poore is, and you take a poop on the public stage the way he did at 12:29 a.m. when you tweet something out that you instantly regret. And you're a Democratic committeeman suggesting that a Republican should be run over by a truck, and then suggesting that, and then in a curse word laced response about the tolerant left is down the hall. We're the left that blah blah blah, and with all kinds, So you can clear he's a radical Antifa type leftist. So what happens is they defend themselves thusly. This is Joe Poore. This is the kind of idiocy that needs to be not only refuted, but pushed underwater and drowned like a river rat. Here's what he said, and this is what they do all the time. Making a joke about a person who has made a career of waging policy violence against Missourians. So that's what Joe Poore's excuse for being a little punk on Twitter is. Well, what about policy violence? It's like that's kind of stuff you hear from these weirdo lefties. That's policy violence. What about the policy violence? Shame on you. That kind of stuff. Shame, shame, shame. Policy violence. What are you, 12? I mean, and again, I always hate making references to kids because my kids are all smart like yours are. And so whenever you say like a 12-year-old, it's like, I don't know any 12-year-olds like that. I mean, who raised this punk? Seriously. But he seems to be born and bred that way. But yeah, what about policy violence? I'm sure that goes over well among the whole rural crowd out there. My goodness. Is there really, like in rural areas? That's why it always amazes me that there could be any Democrat elected, like, for instance, in St. Charles County. Like O'Fallon and Wentzville. It's like, really? Where are those people? Because I'll tell you one thing, man. On God's country, I defy you, or down in God's country, these guys must be very few and far between. I guess that's as evidenced by the fact that you lose an election 80-20. I mean, that's people just running away from you. Because you know what? There are probably more Democrats in that area, in that district, than 20%. So that means even some Democrats couldn't tolerate you, I think. All right, so here's have you watched the Preacher, this movie, this series called Preacher?
Tried the first episode because of the guy that was in it. I thought it was pretty cool in another show he did, but it just gets too weird for me, man. The show was weird. I don't know. I didn't get it.
Well, this is a show on AMC, and apparently it these people hate God. I mean, they act like God's like a monster. And there's an episode that was yesterday called Fear of the Lord, where this guy learned about God's plan to wipe out humanity. But he still has faith in God's plan for good and refuses to take up the angel's offer to rule heaven in God's place. So that's apparently what they're doing here. And then he comes in, and at this point, God comes in.
Have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God.
He arrives like in some kind of van or something.
You're making it sound like there was no way to pass the test.
I gave mankind free will. Your choices are your own, and so are the consequences.
You made us this way.
I made you.
I can't even watch this, really. So God then bites this guy's eye out. Yeah, man. It's a priest who's talking to him, by the way. But I can't even imagine watching something like that depicts God in that fashion, and I just couldn't even believe it. It gives me the chills watching that. There are people out there who think that way. Crazy.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump, responding to the attack on a key Saudi oil production facility, says that even though the U.S. is no longer in need of Mideast oil and gas, it will still help its allies. The U.S. blames Iran for the attack. It cut Saudi oil exports in half and sent crude prices higher. The president describes the U.S. as locked and loaded as it prepares to respond to the attack, but the White House says that does not necessarily mean that military action is in the offing. The United Auto Workers Union has called its first strike since 2007. Some 49,000 workers on strike against General Motors. More talks aimed at ending the walkout are underway this morning. And on Wall Street, the Dow down 141 points. The S&P is off 11 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
One accident causing problems right now. Eastbound 70, you've got a crash before Earth City Expressway in 2 right lanes. And that backup goes all the way to the Blanchette Bridge. So that one causing some problems. Everything else is construction. We've got plenty of that. 44 eastbound before 270. That road work in place until the end of the year. 44 eastbound from Hampton to Grand Boulevard. Road work there until the end of the year. And same thing on 44 westbound Jefferson to before Hampton till the end of the year. That's traffic. I'm Bonnie Green. On 1380 and 105.3 The Answer, online at theanswerstl.com.
1380 The Answer. Weather.
Partly sunny, hot and humid today. Winds northwest 6 to 12 miles per hour and a high of 92. Mainly clear, warm and humid this evening, low 70. For Tuesday, partly sunny, hot and humid and a high of 91. Partly sunny for Wednesday, hot, high 92. I'm Maddie Baggett with your St. Louis Metro forecast on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
No one wants to wake up to find they're the victim of identity theft or malware is compromising their smartphone. LifeLock with Norton now includes protection for your identity and devices. Limited time offer. Get 30% off your first year. Ends October 6th. Join at lifelock.com. Use promo code RISK.
Hi, this is Gia, the host of Moxie Minutes with Gia, and you might be wondering why I even do this radio thing. Ultimately, my show is all about communication and education. I founded Learn with Moxie to help our kids to become better communicators in a screen-obsessed world. If you're interested in getting to Learn with Moxie curriculum in your school, contact me at learnwithmoxie.com. That's learnwithmoxie.com. And as always, keep talking.
Are you ready to sell your house but don't know who to trust with a listing? I'm Tammy Mitchell-Hines, and I sell a house every 30 hours. From staging your house to filling out the paperwork, my team is here to guide you step by step through the process of selling your house and getting the most value from it. Go to calltammy.com and let us do the work for you. If you buy or sell with me, you can use my moving truck for free. Go to calltammy.com. That's calltammy.com.
This hour of Allman in the Morning is brought to you in part by Dr. Anna Smith. Come see what your smile can be at Dentistry with TLC.
Listen to Allman in the Morning with Alexa. Wake up and say, Alexa, play The Answer St. Louis. Now, back to Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
All right, Mark, come on in here. The cell phone's one thing, but then you also come in with a cold. It's like, okay, so you ruined my live spot with West County Volvo, with a cell phone, and you quite possibly are going to get me sick because this fan's blowing on me and it's sucking the germs from you right to me. You see how this fan is working here, Phil?
Yeah, and I hate people who do the cell phone thing. I accidentally turned off one of my phones. I didn't turn off the other one. However, I do want to point out to you that this is like you and your guns. See, I have 1 million phones, and you have 1 million guns. So the question is, what's better, to have phones or guns?
Why do you have 2 phones?
Oh, I have many phones. I have so much tech.
You have
Why
more
do you
than
have so
2
many
phones?
guns? Why do you have so many guns? Do you have more than 2 guns?
Yeah, but in case Beto O'Rourke, President O'Rourke orders his stormtroopers to my house, I want to be able to have them bleed out on my driveway.
Okay, so my illness is phones, and your illness is guns.
Well, see, no, it's not.
So,
that's different, though.
Oh, it's different.
I'm not,
I don't think it's different.
But see, I don't want to restrict your phone access. I don't want to restrict your phones. I just asked you why you have so many. When you ask me why I have so many, it's with an eye on taking them. You're putting your phones back in your pocket, and I don't care whether you have 10 of them. But I do want to know. Okay, I asked you why you had 2 phones. You said you had many phones. So what would be the purpose of having many phones?
I'm in touch with people and calling and texting and working on technology.
Fentanyl deals from China.
Education stuff and stock markets. Never ending. I mean, the connection to technology, and it's so much more safe and sane than having millions of guns. That's all.
Yeah. How does a guy like you get a cold? Like, I don't understand how
it's
that
really
happens.
I hate that, and I haven't had a cold in probably a couple of years or even a little more.
Is it the all the kids you're around?
Probably.
Yeah,
that's probably it.
You stop touching them.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, that's what I think. Anyway, there's a lot to talk about. I want to get to Joe Biden's corn pop story. You hear the corn pop story. Why do these Democratic candidates like to tell? Here, listen. You want to hear Joe Biden's corn pop story, which probably is fake, but who knows? He had a gang of ne'er-do-wells facing.
I learned a lot, and I learned that it makes a difference. This was the diving board area, and I was one of the guards, and they weren't allowed to. There was a 3-meter board, and if you fell off sideways, you landed on the darn cement over there. And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did. And back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap.
He's talking to a bunch of black people, by the way.
Sure.
Just want to let you know.
No,
He
that's
was up
easy
on the
to
board, wouldn't
understand.
listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off. Well, he came off, and he said, I'll meet you outside. My car, these were all public housing behind it. My car, there was a gate out here. I parked my car outside the gate. And he said, I'll be waiting for you. He was waiting for 3 guys in straight razors. Not a joke. There was a guy named Bill Wright, Mouse, the only white guy, and he did all the pools. He was the mechanic. And I said, what am I going to do? He said, come down here in the basement where mechanics, where all the pool filter is. You know the chain, there used to be a chain that went across the deep end. And he cut off a 6-foot length of chain. He folded up, he said, you walk out with that chain.
So he had these people with
Joe
razors.
likes to tell stories.
And he had somebody cut a chain for him on the premises in preparation for the face-off with Corn Pop. See, here's the thing, though. But these stories, first of all, this one is like there's like the story that Beto told. I mean, this one might be more believable. I mean, because of his age. The Beto O'Rourke story about being in a bathroom and having and listen to this, Phil. First of all, men, when they're using the bathroom, a restroom, don't talk to each other. Not while you're at the urinal. You don't talk to a man next to you. It doesn't. That's not how things operate. And so, I mean, people might have a conversation like I know, like at a concert or a ball game, there might be some people while they're in line or while they're waiting, or you're chilling for somebody to get done. You're talking. But generally, when it's time, You do not have a conversation with somebody at a urinal. Beto O'Rourke decides he's going to tell us that he had a conversation with a Republican while they're both whizzing, and the Republican's going, you know what? I would give up my AR-15. That's a story Beto O'Rourke told about talking to a guy at a urinal about guns and how willing this guy would be willing to give up his gun. These are patently false. The story he told the night of the debate about the ambulances and everything else has been proven to be completely factually wrong. What is wrong with these people? I mean, you guys are, let's put it this way. You guys are so hung up on Donald Trump and all his myths, truths that you point out.
12,000 plus.
What about these guys who, I mean, they can't stop lying about things.
Okay, minor stuff that means nothing, talking about a guy in the men's room, talking about corn pop. What does that have to do? How does that compare to somebody that wants to rip apart NATO, shut down the United Nations? I mean, we're talking about...
Mark, but see, when you talk about ripping apart NATO and shutting down the United Nations, those are actual issues that there are reasonable people who actually have concerns about what NATO is doing to us, to our foreign policy, what the UN is doing to us in our foreign policy. And so those are... Pulling out of the UN isn't like some grand thing that President Trump just suddenly pulled out of nowhere. These are actual issues.
These are fringe issues.
Putting together trade deals, all these kinds of things. The France Accord, the Paris Accord was a great example of how we were ill-served by our cooperation with some of these other foreign powers. So that's like a real issue. That's not him lying or doing anything like that.
Yeah, so let's not cooperate with anybody. Let's just tear down all of the institutions that have kept the world safe for 75 years since the end of World War II. Let's just rip it apart and see what happens.
The institutions that have kept the world safe since World War II always boils down to the institution of the United States of America. What relationship don't we have? I mean, every time you turn around, the latest overseas meeting was where President Trump was standing and sitting there with two world leaders having a grand old time. I mean, he hasn't made any enemies except for the people who don't like him.
Yeah, except for Europe, Canada, Mexico.
Europe? What are you talking about?
Everybody. Oh, they hate us. They hate Donald Trump.
But here's
they
thing.
have everything crossed: fingers, legs. They've got their heads crossed. They are truly, and they're atheists, and they're praying for the end of this guy.
What do we care what Canada thinks about us? Or about Donald Trump? What do we care what the UE, which by the way, wants to put the Star of David on every single product coming out of Israel? I mean, did you hear that latest one? This anti-Semite UE, the one that Pope loves so much? Have you heard about that one?
No, but I think it's funny. I know all the BDS stuff.
I said union.
Yeah. No, I know, but I know all the BDS stuff going on, aimed at Israel. And obviously, I don't support that. But on the other hand, I don't think that they are anti-Semites. They're advocating for fairness for Palestinians.
Yeah, that's always what the anti-Semites say.
Oh, please, stop it. I have met so many over the years, Palestinians, who absolutely agree if Israel and Palestine could exist with safety for both, no argument. And that's what it's going to come down to. And Donald only fans the flames of craziness over there.
Right. Yeah. Like it's never the terrorists fanning the flames of craziness. It's never the Moods. It's never Hamas. It's always Donald Trump. The problem is, Mark, you're not in a winning position by stepping up for the European Union and Canada and Palestine as a thing. It's not going to really.
So who are our friends?
I'm getting a cold already. Yeah. Listen to me. I'm already getting a cold.
Who are our friends? Russia?
Italy?
No. Please don't say you're just talking about Johnson, who is about to be kicked so far out on his butt.
Yeah. I mean, because they're doing the same thing they did here, is that they don't like the results of an election, so they're trying to overturn them.
That election was so close.
I'm getting sick as I'm speaking to Mark.
You are so funny. I'm telling you, I think this is where I get it, but that's all right. No, maybe it's
I don't know where
maybe it's the kids.
There's no way you get it from me because I'm never sick.
Okay, well, usually I'm not either.
I only get holes in me and septic shock and things like that.
Right.
But I don't get sick.
Yeah, let's all try to survive here another week. But you were with the conservatives over the weekend.
Yeah,
and I was with some really great people out at Fairgrounds Park, black elected officials working on this anti-violence thing, and they are all asking the question, should we really spend $600,000 on some crazy company that claims that they can stop violence like that? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about that. I appreciate you bringing that up because it shows that, there's always some group that let's put it this way. It was similar to, like, for instance, Better Together, right? There's always some group that comes out of nowhere, suddenly gets these big fat contracts to do things. And I don't know why it is that we always love to invent these shadow governments, really. This is what it is the government decides, we're going to give you a contract to do our work for us. And then suddenly you have these, side governments in operation. And Better Together was a great example of that. What's the name of this one again?
Cure Violence.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Who runs that?
I don't know, but they claim that they've solved all the violence problems in Chicago and Baltimore. Really?
Yeah.
And we're going to give them $600,000? I don't care about $600,000. It's not that much money, and if they did any good, that would be different. But who believes those kind of stories? It's a pipe dream. It's nonsense.
Yeah, well, I think you're onto something there. I think I think that's something you all ought to busy yourselves with our help, and not with the gun restrictions and all that kind of stuff. I think you're onto something with your meeting up in Fairgrounds Park. That's cool. But you trying to take AR-15s and the Beto O'Rourke approach isn't going to work. Even Chris Coons, the senator, says that. I have him on the other side of this break.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even worry about I don't worry about those guns because I know they're not going anywhere. I was with a guy over the weekend who was in Canada, and we looked it up. I mean, Canada has 1 million guns, and we have 320 million. What's our problem? But anyway, forget that.
Why do you keep bringing up Canada? Nobody cares about Canada.
They have 1 million guns, and no one gets killed.
Well,
murders are. If there's a murder there, it's a story.
Well, just
here
wait.
They're another week,
right? But they're also generally kind of in terms of population. They're just a different country.
Yeah.
That's all.
But let me say that the people that I talk to, because this is here. We've got a violence problem in all of our inner cities, and certainly in St. Louis. And when I talk to people over the weekend, and I'm talking about all these liberal black political
how they
people,
do it? How do they do it in the inner cities in Canada, Mark?
They have no guns.
No, they have no inner cities.
They have no guns.
They have no inner cities in Canada.
They have no guns.
I was so praying you were going to say
they have.
Yeah,
they have issues there.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe in Toronto a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Yeah. And anyway, all I'm saying is that when I talk to these people at the liberal black leaders, they are so welcoming of the idea that there are some things that could be done that would even include you. So, the thing about it is just because they hear that they know how conservative you are, but they're not afraid of you. I've run into some people who are afraid of you, and some Republicans who are afraid of you, which is not surprising, as you pointed out as I was on the way in. We have the same thing on my side, where Democrats don't want to tell what they really want to do, and so they're afraid of me because I say it.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, because I don't know why they'd be afraid of me. I'm not doing anything to anybody.
You're honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one thing.
That would do it.
That I am. Yeah, just wait. The Republicans who are about to kiss up to the Kansas City Star and the Post-Dispatch and pass anti-gun legislation, I guarantee you we're taking your names. So maybe you can be afraid of us. I got to take a break here. We'll be back. 844-855-1380. The calltammy.com real estate listener line.
Live from the Arrowhead Building Supply Studio, this is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3. The Answer.
Saturday mornings at 9 are now all about the house. Do you ever wish you could get an hour with a general contractor or building inspector to ask all your home maintenance questions? Well, About the House with Troy Galloway is exactly that. Every Saturday morning at 9, Troy Galloway will spend an hour giving home advice and taking your questions. Submit your questions now on Facebook at the Galloway Building Services Facebook page. And tune in to About the House with Troy Galloway every Saturday morning at 9 on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
This is Jerry Boyer of Town Hall Finance for townhall.com. The economic question which people ask me most often these days is whether the media can talk the economy into a recession. For months, I've been warning that economic growth was slowing down. Now it's undeniable. The economy has slowed, and people are trying to figure out where to place the blame. This is going to be hard for me to say, but for once, I don't think the media is to blame. This slowdown is not driven by falling consumer confidence, the sort of thing the media can influence. No. This slowdown is driven by a slowdown in big-ticket capital spending, factories, power plants, gigantic earth movers, ships, planes, etc., which are not performing well. Decisions about these items are made by serious analysts with serious spreadsheets, not by watching cable pundits. There's no need to point a finger at the media on this one. Want to move the needle back to boom again? Stop the policy uncertainty. I'm Jerry Boyer.
Sponsored by ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom.
You love that smell. That new truck smell. All cleaned up and ready to go.
Did you get your vent visor?
You know, the rain guard that goes over your window? Stop by Custom Car and Truck in O'Fallon, Illinois for free installation and lifetime warranty on vent visors.
How about your bug shield? You don't want to mess up the hood of your new truck with dead bugs. Keep them off the hood with free installation and lifetime warranty bug shield.
See John and the crew off Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Or online at customcarandtruck.com.
There's a place for you at St. Matthew in Belleville. 9 a.m. is our blended service with a 70-voice sanctuary choir and orchestra. Our contemporary service is at 11 a.m. led by our praise band. Make St. Matt's a great start to your week. I'm Scott Ferguson, Director of Outreach, and I can't wait to see you Sunday. For more information, visit us at stmatthewumc.org.
Hi, this is Jess with Razorback Armory in Des Peres. I would like to take a moment to thank all of our Answer listeners for their continued patronage and support over the last 4 years. I know there are many choices out there for you to spend your hard-earned dollars. I definitely appreciate you choosing to shop local with Razorback Armory as your go-to shop for firearms, silencers, ammo, and accessories. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you soon at Razorback Armory, located just east of 270 on Manchester Road in Des Peres and online at razorbackarmory.com.
Arrowhead now offers the full line of roofing and siding products from CertainTeed. Beautify your home with CertainTeed landmark architectural shingles. For an even bolder statement, check out CertainTeed's famous Grand Manor or Presidential Shake or the new Belmont traditional slate look. Get the rustic look of natural cedar siding without the high cost and maintenance of wood with Cedar Impressions polymer shakes. Cedar Board's insulated siding is an energy-saving foam-back siding with a wood grain texture molded from real cedar boards. Contact us today, arrowheadbuildingsupply.com.
KXFN, St. Louis, K287BY, St. Louis.
Hi, this is Dr. Dan. Join me on Need, Want, Love, Wellness, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about your health, things to get you from awareness into action and how to change your life in a way that's never been discussed before so that you can then figure out exactly what's going on for you to best suit your lifestyle to get you back to doing the things that you need to do, want to do, and love to do within your life. So join me, Dr. Vadan, on Need, Want, Love, Wellness, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, want to talk with Jamie? Call 844-855-1380. 844-855-1380. And interact with Common Sense Radio. This is Allman in the Morning on 1380 and 105.3 The Answer.
Hey, Detroit! Yeah!
Detroit. Woo! 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 It's a Motor City Madman. Dude, that's like blowing my ears out. Do you have the volume up, like, or something? Like, deafening me. Yeah, Detroit City, baby. There's also Nutbush City, too. So, speaking of Detroit, so we've got another situation here where the United Auto Workers now and General Motors, the UAW has its first nationwide strike in 12 years. And I don't know what the situation is with General Motors, which basically took this huge bailout, wound up attempting to close certain plants and actually started manufacturing in China. So now negotiators for GM and the UAW, they're going to start bargaining on Monday again today. So GM's U.S. operations are now shut down. First company-wide strike in 12 years. About 48,000 hourly workers are covered by this agreement. And so now they're all out on the picket lines. President Trump and the Democrats now are kind of involved in this. It's kind of become political. And by the way, Scott Pressler, hi, buddy. Thanks for coming in on the show. Great to meet you. And you are 6'5" worth of fantastic conservative action out there, brother. And congratulations on all that you're doing. Scott and I met Scott Pressler for the first time over the weekend, and he does some really good work. He did that cleanup in Baltimore. This is kind of what he does, and it's conservatives taking action, basically. And you can find him on Twitter, obviously, but his movement is the persistence movement as opposed to the resistance movement. And I'm going to get him back here in St. Louis. We're working on something with Brother Bob and a couple of things. So look for Scotty to come back into town here. But a great guy, and we had a ton of fun hanging out over the weekend. So thank you, Scott, for coming onto the show. And I'm going to have him. We arranged to get you on Tuesday because Scott said he was busy. So I'm going to have him on the air tomorrow on Tuesday, and we'll make that happen. So anyway, President Trump, they both want United Auto Workers votes. President Trump got the most union votes of any Republican in a long time. And I've never been reflexively anti-union the way some conservatives have been. I don't understand that. I could see how you could have issues with public employee unions. I think those are terrible and screw the taxpayer. And I'm glad Scott Walker went after them. I couldn't understand why trade unionists supported public employee unions, because public employee unions give unions a bad name. Trade unionists, I've always admired the electricians, of course, and the carpenters and the pipe fitters and all those guys, because they actually go to the table, and the companies that work with them, they put together a mutually beneficial package. That's how it works. And so I've never really been reflexively one of these guys who criticizes unions all the time. The UAW can be a different story because sometimes their demands have really hurt the automotive industry, and the automotive industry sometimes is not doing its job either. So President Trump wants GM, and by the way, GM has a little bit of a problem here, and that is that they were bailed out by U.S. taxpayers. So obviously they want to still maintain a profitable enterprise and do it right. But GM better not be purposely torpedoing this relationship just to hurt President Trump. Because as you know, Mary Barra, who's the chief executive of GM did meet with Trump before the strike deadline, but Trump and Barra don't have that great of a relationship. And so this strike will ultimately be something that the enemy media and the Democrats will use against President Trump for whatever reason. And I think the GM people know that. So I hope this isn't one of those things where the GM executives are poisoning the well here for President Trump. And GM, by the way, has experienced some really big profits after being bailed out. And the UAW wants them to share more of it. I don't know whether the UAW is right or not. But I am afraid that GM may not be cooperating because they know the blowback will ultimately be on President Trump, even if it's wrong. We'll talk more about that and let you know what's happening tomorrow. I can't give you the number because I'm leaving. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A senior White House official says President Trump's use of the phrase locked and loaded does not necessarily mean that military action is in the offing in response to the weekend attack on Saudi oil production facilities.
Locked and loaded is a broad term that talks about the reality is that we're also far safer and more secure domestically from energy independence.
Mark Short is Vice President Pence's chief of staff. The Trump administration accuses Iran of carrying out the attack, employing drones and missiles. The attack cut the Saudis' oil output roughly in half. Energy Secretary Rick Perry says the U.S.